Welcome to the Coffee and Banana Podcast, where we speak to entrepreneurs, thought leaders, executives, artists, and other cool people while grabbing a cup of coffee. In today's episode, we have the pleasure of speaking with Vancouver's young OG, multi-syllabic bar king, king of the V, musician turned entrepreneur, Tre Nyce. Tre speaks on his early days in the Vancouver hip-hop scene, touring nationwide and rebranding throughout the different eras of hip-hop. All that and more in today's episode of Coffee and Banana. Kane was one of the first people there.
Kane's a real one. Yeah. When I first started coming to the studio, it was because I went to Dipped Christmas, like Boxing Day, and met Martini and Jungle, Justin Jung. And my homie was like, spit for them, bro. And just like some serendipitous shit. I had written to 50 Cent Disco Inferno. Okay. And right as the homie said to spit for them, Disco Inferno came on.
Oh,
so,
shit.
Yeah, in Dip. So I dropped the bars, and Justin was like, yo, yeah, you got to come to the studio and come rock with us. I got this artist, Kane. I got this other artist, Edge One. I got this other artist on Webmatic. And we got this thing that we call Central Sound. Central Soul. And so I was like, yeah, like, you know, you're like 16, hella impressionable.
Of course.
And these like cool dudes. These are the cool guys from Vancouver. They still are. Yeah, but like these are like the fucking cool guys, you know? And you're just a kid. So I went down to the studio and they tell me where it is. I'm like, all right, I'm not really thinking about it. So I go down to the studio and fucking take the 160 from Coquitlam Station.
Oh yeah, straight up.
All the way down.
The bus that comes once every hour, right?
Once every hour.
It's fucking whack as hell.
But it runs all the way late though. That's the one thing people don't know.
I thought it goes until 12:20.
It used to go till 1.
Oh, it goes till 1? Okay.
Yeah, back in the day. It used to go till 1. Okay. Still, going 12:20 is late. Like
it's pretty, yeah, 16-year-old kid. Yeah, okay, that's late.
Because you can take you can be further down and you know, off Hastings. Sure, it's 12:20 here, but it's 12:45 where I'm at by the time the bus comes to me, right?
I understand.
So what it was right outside of Pigeon Park Savings. Okay. Which is like right in the fucking the shit.
Yeah.
Right
in the middle of all that zombie shit that's going on.
So I'm 16 years old. I'm telling the bus driver I got a backpack on, but it has my rhymes in it. And bus driver, he's seen me get on from Coquitlam. Everybody's getting off. I'm still on. Yep. Now we're approaching fucking Main and Hastings. And I'm ding. He's like, nah. He's like, no. You get off at Canby. Yeah. Right. And I'm like, no, I got to get off here outside of Pigeon Park. That's where the studio is. He's like, the studio. You know what I mean? But after a while, I started taking the homies every Friday, and we would go. I'd rap with Kane. I'd rap with Edge One. I'd rap with Webmatic, and I got on this mixtape called "Consider This a Privilege" with Edge One.
I need to listen.
It was his mixtape, and that was the first mixtape I ever got on.
Is it on Spotify?
And it was I don't know. You got to ask Edge. But long story short, and shout out to Edge too. He gave me a chance. And so long story short, at that point, that's when I started building up my rep, because then it was like the older girls were like, oh, who's this guy? You know what I mean? Nice. The girls that were in the club already. Yeah. They were like 22, so like 6 years older than me. Yep. But I was like impressionable enough. So even in the 11th grade, I'm in the club now. Sick. You know what I mean? And so we're opening up. My friends are 5-6 years older than me. They're promoters in the club. Yep. So, but this is all fresh and new to me. I don't know how like A1 basic this shit really is. Yeah. But when you're like just coming into it, it's so new. So, oh shit, I got the hookup. So yeah, at that age, you know, I'm opening up in front of, you know, 1,000 people at the Harbor Event Center. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, what was it called?
It's called Plush back then.
What about Gossip? Do you remember it was called Gossip?
Yeah, fuck, I was in Gossip too. I just can't remember where it was at.
Okay. But I thought Gossip was where Harbor Center was.
It might have turned, yeah, I think that's what it ended up being.
Okay. But
I went
before
from Plush
that
to Gossip.
Okay, there we go.
To Harbor Event Center.
I see.
And whatever the hell it is now. But, you know, we were in there, and that's how I kind of began. I always had like a different sound, a different style to what these guys were doing. I always felt like a lot of these guys, they just sounded white. You know what I mean? They just sounded like white boys on the mic, whether they were black or whatever it was. It just didn't sound like their game didn't translate to how does in America. Like you see artists like Drake, or you see artists like Tory Lanez, The Weeknd, who's in a whole nother category. But and Drake too. But if we just put it in a vacuum, those guys don't sound like your typical Canadian rapper prior to 2006. Let's say. You know what I mean? Okay. Prior to 2006.
Would you put Cardinal in that category too?
I put Cardinal. What it is with him is he's the first one to be cool. Like where they're like, oh yeah, he's cool. Yeah. Like in America, like, straight we know Cardinal. Yeah. You know, he had that one song. Yeah. Or he had that one song on BET.
For me, it was Everyday Rude Boy. When I heard that, I was like, yo, it's just hard. Okay. But like, what was the Cardinal song that you heard?
For me, it was Bacardi Slang.
Okay, got you.
So I'm with him from like the jump, from the Firestarter, when he went to go see LL on Much Music and got his Honda towed.
Damn.
Like
I don't know the story.
Yeah, I was following him from then. Oh, okay. So I've been following him forever. And,
he opened for Jay-Z at a point as well.
I'm sure he did. You know what I mean? Toronto, he was considered the Jay-Z of Canada there for a second until he was until Drake really put everything into perspective, right? Because he was able to translate.
So is it true that I mean, like, the legend is that Cardinal is the one who thought about T-Dot and he created it or made it popular?
He probably did. Okay. I mean, I can't give it all the way to him because when I was a little kid, like, T-Dot's just something that everybody said who was from Toronto. That was the original thing, like T-Dot. Yo, I'm from T-Dot. I'm from T-Dot. T-Dot, O-Dot. T-O. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that is, but I mean, I could put it on him. He's an influential person in the city, like, and in the music industry in Canada in general.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
He was the first. He was the first one to translate. Yep. You know what I mean? I got to give him that.
That mainstream North American success, he had it. It wasn't just Canadian success.
Yeah. I mean, and like, once again, we can't go Maestro. I can't put Maestro in that category because Maestro was on a different. We're gonna put him somewhere else with that.
He's a different generation as well. Too. The hip hop, scene wasn't as evolved. You know,
it wasn't.
We like if Maestro, let's say, just came out like today with the internet, or when Cardinal was there, it would have been a different career for him completely. But he was the originator where other people got inspired by him. Like, yo, this guy's dope. He spits properly, like a North American, like a rapper from New York. Right. You put him in that kind of category. Right. But Cardinal is someone who achieved that fame and that success. And we saw it. It was tangible to us. Like, oh, somebody made it, you know? And then our friends in the States are just bumping him. And you're like, shit, you know Cardinal? They're like, yeah, from that song and shit like that. Right. And you're like, okay, we're making some waves.
Let's take a quick break and hear a word from our sponsors, G2 Athletics.
Hey everyone, this is Coach Gibbs from G2 Athletics, located in Vancouver, BC. As a former professional and NCAA athlete, I have over 10 years of professional experience in the game of basketball, which has also allowed me to train youth athletics worldwide, as well as training NBA players and assisting with NBA workouts with athletes such as Metta World Peace, DeMar DeRozan, Kelly Oubre, Jason Tatum, and more. For a limited time, Coffee and Banana listeners will receive an additional 15% discount on our seasonal training academy and basketball products with promo code COFFEE15. That's COFFEE15 with no spaces, all caps. Visit g2athletics.com and receive an additional 15% discount on all training sessions and basketball products. That's g2athletics.com with promo code COFFEE15. Go now, become a part of the G2 family, and improve your game.
Thanks, Gibbs. And now we're back to Coffee and Banana.
Exactly, and that's what it began to be. And so, I mean, I feel like also what can't be understated too is the Rascals' contribution, like as far as what they were able to do. People aren't really understanding that these guys said, like, fuck the Junos, we're not going to go get it. You know what I mean? And things like that.
And they won.
Yeah. You know what I mean? They're like, you're not going to put us on TV. Like, we out, you know?
Straight up.
So, like, they were doing things. And, of course, they're from Vancouver doing the political stance. You know what I mean?
True.
One thing I try to explain to people from Ontario is when they tell me how great the province is, they're right. It is great. Like, it's, you know, Toronto is number one. You can't even argue that. But one thing I can say is every progressive law that makes sense in Canada in the past, like, 35 years, even more, but just like, if we just, like I said, I'm just like a vacuum thinker. So, like, if we're just thinking that time, in my lifetime,
Yep.
has come from Vancouver, from British Columbia, whether it be safe injection sites, the views on prostitution,
Yep.
drugs in general, decriminalization, et cetera, et cetera. It's here. So we're actually cooler than they are.
I see.
You know what I mean?
On paper.
On paper,
Yeah.
we're cooler than them, but they got better shit going on.
They have more. They have more of a culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they
like
got
you go
better
over
shit
there,
going on.
exactly. And it has to do, I think, a lot with the people, and it has to do with the. And correct me if I'm wrong, okay? But there's a lot of people that come to Vancouver and they almost forget a little bit of their culture. While in Toronto, it's easier to retain it because you have other people celebrating their culture and that's their identity.
It's a fact.
Just in my perspective, like the Afghans that I know here are low-key trying to be like kind of forgetting that they're Afghan, like kind of forgetting their origins, their roots. That we're not really connected.
Right.
You know, this community here.
Right.
Toronto, completely different story.
Right.
Everybody knows somebody else. They've created like associations, and I'm just like, wow.
And they're proud.
And they're proud of it.
Yeah.
And now we're low-key learning from them in that perspective.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of successful Afghans in Vancouver, but we've just never connected.
They've assimilated. That's why.
There we go.
You know what I mean?
You give
And
me that bond.
yeah.
That's the word I was looking for.
That's what it is. They've assimilated. So, and that's a lot of people too. When I first came here from Toronto, I didn't even listen to hip hop like that. I didn't really like rap like that, but I listened to reggae, and I still feel like reggae artists are the best artists. They're the best lyricists in the game. Like if you know what they're talking about, and you hear how they put it together, these guys are the best.
Yeah.
It's not even a question. But when I came here, I had to assimilate. I had to use hip hop as a way for me to get down with the kids that were out here, because me listening to reggae was like the same as like my brown friends listening to like, you know, Hindi music or whatever it was to my other counterparts at school.
Yep.
So you end up assimilating, and that's what happens out here. Then you go back to whether if you went back to Afghanistan, let's say, or if you went to, let's say, Edmonton, where there's a strong like Afghan community there.
Yes. How did you know this, by the way?
Man, come on.
My man. Wow. This guy.
You know what I mean?
He knows his stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, if you went there, then you get your reconnect.
True.
And then you come back out here and it's the same. It's like what I said in the speech on oh my God, in June for the BLM
For the
situation,
protest,
for the protest. I had said that like when you come back here, the first thing they want to do is pick apart your difference in them, your non-assimilation, your disassimilation. Exactly. And they do that until you assimilate. And then once you assimilate, they find someone else to bother, or they find something else about you to pick at.
Facts.
So it's just, you just got to be yourself unapologetically.
100%. 100%. I couldn't agree with that more. And do you think that's a Scorpio mentality, or that's just how you grew up?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, it's both. Because like I also just needed to grind, like, you know, needing to survive, but then needing to understand how to thrive in life too. Like being more than a survivor, being a thriver. Gotcha. You know what I mean? And what that means to be
100%. 100%. There's one artist in Toronto, or there's a group of them, and they had a song with the game. It was like, I see a fire in your eyes. Do you know what song I'm talking about?
I do. It's JB.
JB. There we go.
Yeah.
What happened to them? That song was so fire, and then I didn't hear anything else from them. But I'm in the West Coast, right?
JB, but I got mad love for him.
Okay.
And Jamal McGlure, shout out Big Cat. That's my dog.
Oh, Big
Cat.
Cat.
I mean?
Nice.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, but I don't know. Those guys are OGs.
Give Jamal McGlure a shout out. Goddamn.
Yeah. Jamal McGlure's a real one. Shit.
He was in the All-Star game once.
Yeah.
He got 19 points.
That's right.
And then now when you look at the top averages in the All-Star game, he's up there. Because when he went there, he's like, I'm getting to work. I'm trying to get this award.
Exactly.
He was pretty close to getting the MVP, but I think Shaq got it that year.
Big Cat. That's what they called him, man. Fire.
That's dope. So I know a lot of people don't know about you is that basketball is a huge part of your life.
It is.
Just like how you were brought up.
It is.
What is your favorite? Who is your favorite basketball player? Let's say that first.
My favorite basketball
Give me
player.
top five. How about this? Give me a top five.
Top five. I would go with like Shaq. He'd be my number one. I would go with LeBron, number two.
Okay.
Just because, and no one stood for more greatness off the court. Like some people can't match their greatness off the court.
I feel you.
So I do that. I have that in my head when I look at that too.
Got it.
So
okay.
LeBron, I'll say Jordan. I'd say Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
And,
they're not going to be in the same team.
Yeah, and I'd say Magic Johnson. Honorable mention 5, like number 5B would be Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah,
I see.
something like that.
Okay, I would put Kobe over Jordan.
Yeah.
Because I saw the greatness.
Yeah.
But after watching Last Dance and just seeing, I mean, Jordan is the greatest. Like, it's impossible for
pretty
any
damn
other
good.
player to do that. It's just
Pretty good.
because basketball wasn't even popping at that time. It's not the sport that it was today, and he made it popular. He made
Right.
it like what it was. There's nobody else that could take it to that level. I mean, probably maybe LeBron James has like really been
He's been great.
superstar, and
Yeah.
then now he has Space Jam 2 coming out,
Yeah.
which will probably elevate him
Elevate
to
him, yeah.
another level.
Yep.
But he was like I could be wrong, but the first basketball celebrity that was known in a world scale.
Yeah.
I mean, Wilt was really well known.
Wilt
you know,
was big.
He was
Magic
dope.
was pretty big. Larry Bird was really big.
True.
Kareem was in movies.
Yeah.
They like the NBA is interesting because like what they talk about is how like in the 70s the game wasn't as popular because it wasn't getting all the TV contracts. But what they're not telling you is like those guys were hood superstars.
Yeah.
Like, and what I mean by hood is like not just like Harlem. I'm talking like locally, everywhere they were in their neighborhood. Those guys were big time celebrities.
Word.
And they did a lot of drugs. They drank a lot of alcohol,
Yeah.
and they played basketball. And they played basketball a different way. It was very physical.
True.
They let them fight back then. It was just a different type of game in a different
Exactly.
era. And then
Do you
MJ
like that era? Do you like
I
it
do.
when it was more aggressive and
I do and I don't.
Okay.
But I like MJ's era is crazy because he's like the first like super athlete of his era.
yeah? Well,
So-
Dr. J,
Dr. J, yeah. Dr. J jumped from the foul line.
yeah.
I can
But I
give him
think
that.
Jordan was a better shooter.
Jordan was a better shooter. Jordan was a better all-around scorer
Yeah.
of the basketball. And it just became a thing. So, I mean, it's hard to say. But for me personally, I think what LeBron did, the reason why I put Shaq number 1 is because Shaq, literally, you could run the offense directly through Shaq. And prime Shaq was something to see.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't stop that. He could run the court like how any of these, like Giannis.
Yeah.
He was like skinny like that at one point.
True.
He
With
could
the
fly.
Magic, with Anthony
Right.
Hardaway.
This is what I'm saying.
Do you know
Don't
Anthony
forget
Hardaway, by
that.
the way, bro?
Of course. He was
People
nice.
sleep on him. Too.
Penny was fire.
Penny was fire.
I got a
Yeah.
dog named Penny.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Because of Anthony? Do you
Yeah,
call
well,
Lil
that too.
Penny?
She's a girl, but I named her
Okay.
Penny because she's copper tone, but
Got
still,
it. Okay.
Penny.
Penny.
You know what I mean?
There we go.
But yeah, no.
Yeah, Prime Shaq was different.
Shaq was
yeah,
different.
bro, you can't fuck with
Prime
Shaq
Shaq
back
was
then.
just different. He led a team to the finals. He did his thing. Like
Yeah,
he
he
actually
did.
was sick. And then, but LeBron
And he was
came-
rapping on the side.
Exactly.
He went platinum.
This is what I'm
He
saying.
has songs
Shaq's
with
number one.
Jay-Z. Shaq
Shaq's
has a
number
song
one.
with Jay-Z. That's crazy.
Shaq had a song with Biggie.
Yeah, Shaq has a song with Biggie.
Yeah.
Right? He's I saw that. By the way, I'm a huge Shaq fan. So
Yeah, me
I
too.
grew up, Shaq was my number one
Yeah.
basketball. I was like the player that I like because like his off court personality, he was
This is what I'm
hilarious.
saying.
I was like, and he was I fuck with and one mixtapes. Do you do
Yeah, of
and one
course.
mixtape?
I used
Okay,
to watch him before games.
there we go.
Yeah.
So the only one I could, because back then it was the VHS. The one
Yeah.
I could afford was Volume 4. So I would
Yeah.
just watch it on repeat
Yeah.
until LimeWare or Grokster came about,
Right,
and I
right.
could
And you
download
could
that
download it.
shit.
Yeah.
But then I would see Shaq just like going into one of those and one mixtapes and then showing his dribbling, and I was like, damn,
he had
Shaq.
handles.
He
I
had
know.
handles.
That's
I was
what I'm
like,
saying.
so yeah, Shaq
Shaq was
was
sick.
he was, and then now when you see a big man doing that stuff, we're like, cool, but who was the person that was that dominant and was that flexible and able to move in such a
Exactly.
way? He's kind of like a mixture. He took a lot of what Hakeem did,
Yeah.
except now he's like 300 pounds at that point,
Yeah.
and then just like a beast.
On top
You
of
know,
it all.
unapologetic, like you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
It's just like his confidence. You know that if Shaq is upset, you're just like nice. Like as a
Exactly.
fan, you're like,
Yeah.
he's gonna go in. He gets the ball and he just like slams.
Bullies guys,
Yeah.
man. Slamming guys. My dude, though, right now is LeBron. Like, he came down from 3-1.
Yeah.
Enough said. Jordan never did that. Like, I don't care if he won 3 in a row twice or whatever it was. LeBron has had a way more difficult path to this shit. Yeah, he's had a longer career, but his path has been more difficult. And he's got to the finals a gang of times. He's led bums. When he leaves the team does nothing.
The
You know what I
economy
mean?
of that city
The economy
goes
of the-
down.
yeah, that's what I'm
It
saying.
tanks.
Jordan could leave, and his team still made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, I believe, right? Or
They made it to the
semis?
playoffs.
The
They made it
playoffs.
to the playoffs. But
Where'd
then
the Cavaliers go after
yeah.
LeBron?
Yeah, they were, I think, one of the worst teams.
team
The
in the
worst
league.
team in the league.
Even though they had Kyrie, they were still shit.
Fuck.
You know what I mean? So his impact.
Here's my thing about LeBron and why I think LeBron is great. This is why I see his greatness.
Yeah.
When he came into the league, they were like the chosen one. This guy is so great. Him and Sebastian Telfair. People forget about Sebastian Telfair.
And Melo too.
Okay, Melo too.
Yeah.
But like the chosen one was definitely LeBron, and like there was a documentary with Sebastian Telfair as well when he came out.
I remember that.
And then nice. You're a basketball fan for sure. So I'm a huge fan, so I'm following this. But let's look at that era and all those players and who's the one to this day. Yeah. First of all, majority of them are retired.
I know.
You know, and he's the one competing with the younger cats. And we're talking about, okay, who's top 5 and LeBron's consistently in that category. I mean, I think he's the best player, but that's just because physically we haven't seen someone like him.
Never.
You know,
his body of work speaks for itself too.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
I mean, KD's pretty damn close.
KD's a monster. I like that mentality he has. You know, he has that mama mentality.
He does.
You know, so when he turns, and he's like skinny, but he doesn't give a fuck. He's like, I don't care. I'm just gonna go. Like Kevin Garnett, he had that too.
Yeah, KG was sick, but he couldn't do it. Like he couldn't shoot like how KD could.
Yes, KD's a way better shooter, but his mid range was nice. Yeah, KD.
I modeled my jumper after Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett, but Kevin Garnett was like this. You know, he went the whole Larry Bird all the way back here. But if
I don't go that far back.
Okay, you don't go that far back.
My shit's straight out in front.
Okay, nice.
Locked,
yo, bro, we gotta play ball sometime.
Yeah,
I these days I'm just dribbling because I have nothing else to do during quarantine.
Right. Oh.
But just find like a corner and just do my stuff. Back in the day, I would. There's this video. It's called Babito, some shit like, and he was practicing how to dribble. So I would watch those videos and I would do. Do you know what Air Alert is?
Yeah, I know Air Alert.
So I would follow Air Alert and then try to get my hops up.
Yeah.
Did you ever dunk or touch the rim?
No, I was grabbing rim all day.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, regularly.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
Good fingertip dunk on certain
Could
rims.
you palm the ball?
All day.
Oh, you could palm the ball too?
Yeah, I was pretty good at basketball. I like to toot my own horn on that one.
Okay.
I thought I was a pretty good basketball player. I just didn't.
What position were you playing?
I was a 1-2 optional, really.
Got it.
So, but I never really. The thing about it is, I didn't necessarily put in like the mental side of the game, and I didn't have the focus necessarily needed. I remember easily making all these teams, man.
Like the U16 and shit like that? Word.
All that shit.
Okay.
Fucking, Nike Super 50.
Oh, shit.
I went in. Actually, I'm going to tell the story.
Tell us the story, man.
The Nike Super 50, how I made that one was we were at the 12th grade. My coach, he and I, we were never cool. But it was a weird thing. Like I was kind of stuck having to go to this school.
Yeah.
And he was kind of stuck with me. I was kind of stuck with him. And he always would just make it more difficult than it needed to be for me personally. Okay. And I think that was just because he knew, he just kind of looked at me like, this guy's up to no good. You
was
know
it
what I mean?
Your style of play?
No, it was just my style in general. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? My style of play is really inclusive. Like if you're on the court with me, I'm gonna at least get like 2 or 3 situations in a run, like in 5 minutes, where you're gonna get some looks.
Word.
You know what I mean?
Dope.
If I think that it's going bad, then I'm just pulling up from 3.
Go in.
You know what I mean?
Of
all
course.
the time. Just pull up till we get right back, you know? But long story short, he was making it tough. So he sends out his guard and 3 guards. So it's me and 2 other dudes. His 2 guys that he's got starting over me.
Yeah.
So he thinks that they're going to make the team. But I had already put in my work with Basketball BC. And I knew these coaches from the year prior to the other team that I'd already made.
Yeah.
So I went in there, and there's this kid. He ended up playing for Portland NIAU.
Yeah.
His name was Ryan Murray.
Okay.
And so Ryan Murray had all this hype.
Ryan Murray, what's up, bro?
What's up, Ryan Murray?
What's up?
Ryan Murray, you remember this.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
This is Tre Nyce talking. Listen up.
So we go in there, and I didn't even know that this is Ryan Murray. I'd never heard of him. I'd heard of him, but I'd never seen him before.
Sure.
So finally, because he'd been playing grade 12 all this year, he's so good. So finally, we get in there, and boom, we're in this drill. I'm lazy from the night before because I've been smoking. I told you I wasn't taking it the way I should have.
Sure.
But I could play. Like I could really, really play.
Yeah.
So get up in the one-on-one drill. He catches it. He turns elbow and he goes by me. Boom, layup. Coach is like, you just let him blow by you. I'm thinking to myself, like, this is fucking scrub. Like, I don't even care that this guy went by me. Like, let's just wait until we get into these other drills where I can really bust these guys' ass and show you guys what I do. Yeah, pause, right? So he's like, he gives me this look and I'm feeling out of breath. So I'm like, can I go to the bathroom? But that's a bitch ass move in a tryout. You don't ask to go to the bathroom.
You just go?
No.
Oh, you just don't go in.
That shit.
Okay.
You don't in the middle of a drill, you don't ask to go to the bathroom because it shows that you're fatigued. No matter how you put it,
I see.
You're not in shape. That's why you're doing it. Like, that's what the coach thinks. That's
unless like there's some blood or something noticeable, you got to clean up.
Poked in your eye or something. Yeah. Okay, go to the bathroom.
Go in.
There better be mitigating circumstance. This is a hardcore tryout too. This is best in the West.
Yep.
Nike Super 50.
Damn.
So like, there's only the good guys.
What year is this, by the way?
06.
06.
So I'm like, let me go to the bathroom. So it's gut check time. I'm like, you fucking coward.
Yeah.
I'm in the mirror telling myself like, man, you better fucking man up.
Yeah.
This is some real pussy shit going on in here. So I go back outside and I go into these
Are you
drills.
actually talking to yourself or is it all mental?
Oh no, this is like a bit of both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm like,
is it water splash in the face kind of thing? Okay.
It's like, wake the fuck up, bro. Like you're this is bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even for you, this is bad. Like you shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
So I get back out there and I won every fucking drill after that, right?
Nice.
Every drill. And shout out to Anatan Brach and Elvis Ballack. They could tell you the story is 100% legit. So then
I know Elvis. Is he from Cent?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my homie. He's actually one of my favorite basketball players too.
Oh, word. Yeah. He was dominating in Cent.
Oh yeah. Him and Anatan. Anatan from Pine Tree. Sick baller. Anyway, he's like the Indian Kobe.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Anyway, so these
shout out Anatan. That's
shout out to
Indian
Anatan.
Kobe.
Indian Kobe, or
I gotta check out his work.
Check him out. So boom. So we're in the final drills now, and it's 3-on-3, and it's me and this other big kid from Maple Ridge and some other random.
Sure.
And we're in the finals now. So now the coaches before the finals start. This is how I realized it was Ryan Murray.
Okay. So
the coaches before the finals start, he pulls me up. He goes, how many of you guys here think Tre's team is going to win? If you think, and this is at half court, and he says, if you think Tre's team's going to win, you stand on Tre's side.
Yep.
And the only guys who stood on my side was Elvis, Anatan, and the two kids from my school.
Nice.
I don't want to say their names because they're coaches and stuff. I don't want to bug them.
Got it.
But the two kids from my school, so if I had 4 people on my side, there was like 35, 40 kids who tried out for this shit.
Damn.
So 36 kids thought I was going to take the L.
Word.
So he said Tre's team. And I thought, remember, I didn't know this was Ryan.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, like I said, this guy's like a hyped up, hotshot basketball player from Terry Fox.
Is he like cocky as well about it?
No, not really. He's from Terry Fox. Just if you're from Coquitlam, you understand.
Yeah.
Fox still to this day. You know what I mean? I got a nephew who goes there. Like it's just a different type of thing. So he's from Fox. His dad's involved in the basketball program.
Sure.
You know, he's hot shit.
Okay.
He's going NIAU, which is like, I don't give a fuck, but he's going to NIAU, which he's going to get a good education at least.
Okay.
And he's going to play like just under JUCO, sub-tier, Div 2 fucking basketball.
Okay. Is it second tier NCAA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope,
so
dope.
It's still good.
It's still good.
Yeah. You can't, like,
SFU became that later on.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
so
see.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good. If you want to play professional, like that's one of the next steps.
Towards like going to EuroLeague.
I feel you.
So he's supposed to be good.
Yeah.
So you already know what happened there. We went, we played, dusted his ass.
Word.
You know what I mean? And that
was it close?
No, I think I beat him by like 2 or 3 points.
Okay.
Which is like clean in 3-on-3. Like if you lose by 2, that's clean.
3-on-3.
It was 3-on-3. It was the finals in 3-on-3 for the it was the end of the thing. They were running it to see who had the best, like who could run a good half court set all day, who could score within the half court, because it's usually like in a triangle offense, it's 1, 2, 3. And then you have your wingmen that are like rotational. They can come in, or your post can rotate with the wing, and you play off the 3.
Yeah.
So they were trying to see who could run that and do it well. Well, it turns out I'm gonna do it better than the guy who played the NIAU.
Straight up.
You know what I mean? So I made the Nike Super 50. I was number 50 on the Super 50 because of they knew what I was up to.
That's it.
They knew my reputation, but they were like, the motherfucker can ball.
He can ball.
You know.
And then when you went back to your school,
Yeah.
was your coach feeling different?
Now he's a hater. I'm telling you. Yo, here's now I didn't even have the money to go to the thing because it was like $600.
Yeah.
and I didn't have the money. I was just a kid.
Yeah.
But the funny part was that all the girls on the basketball team and all the dudes who were on my team, they were like, yo, like, we heard you made the night. Like, I didn't even know I made the Super 50, right? Till I went to school. And they're like, yo, you're on the thing. Like, you made the Super 50.
Yeah.
And one of the kids made a remark. He was like, oh, that's bullshit. Like, one of the kids who was starting over me should have been on the team over me because he beat everybody in the one-on-one drills.
Yeah.
That was before I woke up, though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That was when the kid swept by me and shit.
Exactly.
I wasn't awake yet.
But
as soon as I woke my ass up,
you were a different monster. Yeah, exactly.
They get nothing.
It's how you finish. It's how you finish. It's how you finish.
That's important. That's why, nice guys can finish last, but we finish with the most experience.
Isn't that interesting, though, that you remember this story so vividly?
I do, because it was one of the things.
This probably shaped you.
It did.
Okay.
And that's why I'm thankful. Thank you, Ryan Murray, and all the hype that you got, because it really helped me to understand that certain things, like so later on when I would meet celebrities, I wouldn't be so starstruck based off the fact that I could pull back from that experience.
That's interesting.
Of being like, well, he really wasn't all it was supposed to be. So I doubt this person's reputation is, and I can just kind of get in and just do what I do. For the fact that, like, I'm not really that intimidated. I already done had 40 people say that I wasn't going to be shit.
Exactly.
And prove them wrong at an early age. You feel me?
That's hella Scorpio energy. The more people that don't fuck with you, you're like, oh, word. Like, now you have, like, all right, the fact that you can prove these people wrong, it's like, it's more fuel to the fire.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up. Because, like, if someone, okay, I'll tell you something kind of relevant. I went to Coma Lake. Do you know that area?
Yeah, the Lakers.
So I went to Coma. The Lakers. There we go. So I was into street ball. I was more into hip hop and stuff like that. More behind the scenes, but I got into basketball, and then I started being really good at it because I got obsessed with and one, and I was trying to just do all those drills.
Right.
And everyone in my school was like, "Dude, you're the best player in my school. You're the best player in the school." But the coach was like, no, it's this kid, David Otterman or Derek Thiessen. So Derek Thiessen, he's like, I'm, let's say 5'8". Derek Thiessen is like 6'2" at the time. And bigger kid, already has this advantage. He plays volleyball, other sports,
Right.
I'm too broke to pay for like Steve Nash League, Drive. I can't do that shit.
Yeah.
So I'm just teaching myself. And the David Otterman kid, he actually got drafted by the MLB. So crazy. He's like more into baseball, but he was very athletic. Yeah. And I was like, let's see. So when we played outside, 1-on-1, they couldn't touch me. Because like I can dribble and I can shoot. And at that age, I was so confidence is so important.
It is.
But a lot of the kids, like I'm 12, 13, and I'm just like one of the better players. And then I play on the actual team. The coach is not playing me, playing these other kids. And I'm just like fucking annoyed. I'm like, what's going on? When I'm on, I'm scoring, I'm schooling these kids, but you're still prioritizing these people. And he's trying to swing it like, you're good off the bench. We need the bench support, but we need to start these other kids. Right. So I was like, I don't fuck with this shit. I'm cheese or whatever. And then our school had this tournament, 3-on-3 tournament. And then my basketball coach at the time, Charles, that's his name, Mr. Charles. He was like, you know him, the massive dude or whatever. Okay, so he's like, Derek's team or David's team is gonna win, no doubt. And I said, I'm versing them tomorrow. By the way, he's like, yeah, I don't think you'll score a point. And I'm like, word. Oh, okay, shit. So I'm playing, and this was the rule. So you have to be 3-on-3, and I am grade 8. So you have to pick a grade 7 and a grade 6. So it's a team mentality. So my younger brother is grade 6. I got him, and a grade 7, I just like picked a random person, right? So I'm like, let's get in there. And then when I was playing against them, bro, it was lights out. Like I had more motivation. I get into the finals, like, bro, I destroy everyone. I beat the final team, but we came second because of disqualification. We came late to the game because the grade 7 person that we got was like, I don't want to play basketball anymore.
Oh,
I'm like,
right in the middle.
Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. This is the finals. Like, I'm like, I'll buy you pizza. Like, I was like trying to bribe them and shit. Yeah. And then finally, like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And then came in, and then they were like, you're disqualified.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then we beat the team anyways, but they're like, you're disqualified. And then they got like, I guess the award, and they were written on the school or shit. So yeah, but I didn't care too much because I'm like, low key though, the coach and all these motherfuckers thought that these other kids were, the athletic kids were better than me. And I was like, you just don't even recognize a different style of play.
That's all it is.
You know?
Yep.
And the more people that bring you down in moments like that, I just remember I'm like, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't fuck with some of the BC basketball stuff. Because like some of them are, it's like you're the coach and your kid is automatically on the team.
That's what they do. That's exactly what, there's a lot of nepotism in sports in general. So that's something that, and even now, like you see kids now, they're going to come up and their dad's been a coach in programs for over 20 years.
Yeah.
That kid whose parents is a coach, 9 times out of 10, they're not even that good.
They're not.
9 times out of 10, they're being forced to play the sport for whatever reason. Their parent wants to live through them.
Yeah, vicariously through their own fucking failed NBA career or some shit like that.
Yeah, or
it's
just
so
whatever.
True.
Like, you know, so for me, like I have one of my sons, both of them are athletic, but one of them actually, like, you know, he's just old enough. He plays sports. He's good at sports.
By the way, he looks exactly like you.
Yeah, he's
freaky, bro.
Yeah. So like, but he's more athletic than I was
at that age.
At that age, like I laterally was probably my weak move. Like I was really stiff at lateral movement.
Like, so like on defense, if someone's go, okay.
But I was good at defense. So it's a catch-22. But I had slow lateral movement. So he's got all that. And I just see we've had to deal with nepotism ourselves with other coaches, other things. Yeah. And even with myself being a person of influence, it still doesn't matter. Nepotism is strong.
Damn.
So it's just one of those ones. You're going to force your kid to do shit. I don't do that. I tell my kid pretty much, if you want to grow trees and become a fucking horticulturist, I'll go we go to Mr. Florist right now. Yeah. You know, you don't have to play sports if you don't want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But he's into basketball?
Yeah. Oh, he loves ball, but he's a football player through and through. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't put him football.
I didn't put him into basketball. He can play. He's good. Yep. He even his first year playing organized ball, the team went to the finals for the district.
That's awesome.
Which is he got beat by some kid who like plays for Drive, but he didn't get a chance to even defend the kid. So we don't know what could have happened.
Yeah.
But that's some dad shit right there.
Yeah, straight up, bro.
You know, yeah.
But how are you? Like, what kind of dad are you on the side? Like, are you like
loud?
Are you telling your son to like get the fuck up, go back and go hard? Or are you like, don't worry, buddy, you'll get it next time? Like, what's your energy? Both. Okay. Is it somewhere in the middle? You have to find. Oh, it's both.
Both.
Okay.
But like the parents.
What's the time that you were just like yelling at him to be like, work harder in sports?
It's happened like fucking like 4 times probably.
Okay.
There was one time he plays 2 years up in flag.
Okay, so he's good.
He's good. He's a quarterback too. He's damn good. He can read a deep, blah, blah. Yeah. Anyway, we were playing against this other team that has the same name as us, and we couldn't beat these like it just pissed me off every time, right? Yeah. And they're from Coquitlam. Damn. So I really want to beat Coquitlam, you know what I mean? Facts. So like that was one time where I was like, because he had a new kid on his team who was nice, but we have some real good players on his team that we've been rocking with. Yeah. And he was just targeting the one kid only. And I just yelled in the middle of the game, like, man, you better start passing that ball to this kid, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean? And so that was one. And then there's been a couple. Yeah, there's been a couple where he was just getting smoked on the field. I didn't feel like he was giving it his all, and just yelled at him to pick it up.
I see.
Yeah.
Dope, man. No, but there's so much potential with football, especially in Vancouver. Yeah. I mean, you got the CFL right here, right? So they took the year off, of course, because of COVID. But I hope they're coming back this year.
They are. The league's still alive.
Okay.
They got old money in the CFL. They're not gonna fall out like the XFL on that after 1 year. Yeah. Those guys didn't have the don't get me wrong, Vince McMahon has the money to keep it going if he wants to, but like why? You know what I mean?
Did you hear about The Rock? He's investing into it.
Bought it for like $15 million.
Did he buy it, or did he just looking into it?
I'm pretty sure he bought into it.
He did?
Because his ex-wife does a lot of his business dealings. Yeah, and she's the one who like put the purchase down.
That's crazy.
So yeah, he did.
And you know his story of like he came in and got cut. Yep. And then years later he owns the team or he owns the league.
That's how it goes. And that's why you can never, like people that you meet in life that you walk by in passing, you don't know what they're going to do or what they're going to be capable of later. 100%. That's why you just got to be respectful to people.
Definitely.
You know I mean, you never
people look at it so short term. And even if that little bit of nepotism that you talked about, it's crazy because like we could talk about basketball and everything. And maybe that shaped you early on into what you're doing in music. Because you're like, oh, this same bullshit, I saw it in basketball. Do you think that going into music from sports, it made it a little bit easier because you were like, I dealt with this before, or is it completely different?
Nah, it helps you deal with adversity. That's like for me. Like I said, I've been, it's true. I've been in situations like you're at the, you're playing ball. You're with you get on the run with the spring ball.
Yep.
Coming from Toronto, I already know I'm better than all these kids in Vancouver.
Facts.
The coach knows I'm better than them too. So I'm in the 9th grade. Coach says, "Yo, come play 10th grade with me. Come up here. Come play on the junior team. We're going to the provincials."
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know how much you'll play, but come hang with us.
Let's take a quick break and hear a word from our sponsors, Ball Life Studios.
Hey everyone, this is Coach Eliza Chavez from Ball Life Studio, located in the Bay Area in sunny California. Here at Ball Life Studio, we offer elite level basketball training for all ages and skill levels. We give exposure to and develop all our athletes to not only reach their max potential on the court, but off the court as well. We teach and develop the whole athlete, from the mind to the body. For a limited time, Coffee and Banana listeners will receive an additional 15% discount on all training sessions and basketball products with promo code COFFEE15. That's COFFEE15 with no spaces. Visit www.balllifestudio.com/shop and receive an additional 15% discount on all training sessions and basketball products. That's www.balllifestudio.com/shop with promo code COFFEE15. We have some exciting events coming to you all this year, so stay tuned with our yearly schedule by following us on Instagram at Ball Life Studio. Here at Ball Life Studio, we are all about the ball life.
Thanks, Chavez. And now we're back to Coffee and
Come
Banana.
hang with us.
That's
So I'm like, all right, cool. Then I go to the spring league run for my age. Coach wants to put me in with a bunch of shit players and put all of his starting five. That, you know what I mean? These are my guys. Let's see what you got. Okay, so I go out there, I bust all their asses. You know what I mean? Straight up, just wet threes everywhere. It helped me deal with adversity.
Did you have a rap? Sorry, did you have a basketball nickname? You know how like some
Just
people...
Trey.
Trey?
Yeah.
Okay, Trey with the trays? Trey with the buckets?
Treys. I could just wet threes. That was one of the things I could do. So then you take that same adversity, you go to the studio now, and somebody's like, you come off the bus in the Pigeon Park Savings, and a crackhead fires up a torch right beside you. You're like, oh shit. And she's like, little boy, go home. And like sticks her tongue out at you. Right. And you got to walk through that.
Great golden voice.
Right. And you got to walk through that, bang on this gate. It's like a secret door. It opens up. You walk into this studio. These guys are all way older
Is this
than
Greenhouse?
me.
Where is this?
No, this is Central Soul. These guys are all way older than me. Way more experienced in life than I was.
Yep.
And just, trying to intimidate me because they're looking at me like, yo, now it's no longer like, oh, that's the little homie. It's like, this guy's trying to come from my spot early.
Yeah.
The same girl that I like, he likes, and she's asking me about him and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So then I started understanding how animosity and things like that can build.
Damn.
But you just move through it. I always have, always will.
How was your personality in that, let's say, high school mode? Were you just, okay, let's say with the ladies, were you like flirtatious dude? Were you like good with them, or were you more conservative?
Always had girlfriends. And,
okay.
You know what I mean? I always had lots of girls.
Nice.
Always.
Okay.
And I was pretty, I like to think that I wasn't somebody who was bullying people or being a dickhead to people or nothing like that. Like, I feel like the nerdiest kids could talk to me. Like there'd be times I'd be doing my homework with the biggest nerds.
Low key though, I think you are a nerd.
I am.
Straight up. Like,
that's what I tell people all the time.
Yeah, you're a hella nerd. Listen to your lyrics. Like somebody who listens to your lyrics are like, this guy's a rap nerd.
Right.
Or like I think Nas is also a nerd.
Right.
Because like, why the hell is he talking about random shit that's going on in Egypt and he's 21 years old?
Right.
And then your random lyrics, how the hell can you make a reference of something in the 80s?
Exactly.
Why are you trying to find out about pop culture to that extent? Or why are you making certain references like that? And this is like a 16-year-old kid.
Right. Studying it early.
That's the nerd side of you.
Yeah.
So that's why I think you can like coexist or like exist in this different environments.
Yeah.
You can hang out with like the dudes that are just rappers, the ballers, the kids that are just trying to just get the better grades, because you kind of see a similarity in all of them. Yeah.
I've lived all like those lives.
Dope
you know
shit.
what I mean? So it's like, it's been my life is an accumulation of all that, from street stuff to balling stuff to nerd stuff to just overall just education, this that, whatever. That's what my life is. It's a compilation of these things. Experience. That's really what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. How did you come up with Corruption Camp?
Fuck. Cash had just got out of jail. I hadn't even met the guy. came and picked him up like from the train station that they let you out at. He wanted to get down on some shit.
Yep.
I thought it was a good idea at first. So we got it going, and then pretty much he was corrupted.
Okay.
And that corrupted me along in the process.
I see.
So it was a bit of a
just like his mentality, or like how he looked at the world.
Just in general, just like not a savory, not a good person. You know what I mean? Not a good person.
I see.
So there was that, and being young and being somebody who you know, you're looking for these things. Like my family members, my close family members at that time during that corruption camp wave and during that stolen members wave, they were in jail. They were in the penitentiary.
Oh, really?
So when they're going in and out of the penitentiary, I don't have my main people with me to guide me. My main, like I'm talking my best friends, my brothers, they're all in jail. I'm sorry, not jail, penitentiary. You know what I mean? Not jail. Like jail is a different thing. Jail's like, I've been to jail.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
What's the difference? Like if you want to break down
jail is like, you know, you get arrested
overnight kind of thing.
You go stay, you know, maybe you stay in there for a week or two, a month or whatever. Yeah, jail. Okay. And then there's penitentiary where it's like, you know, you're here.
Yes.
And this is like 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours away.
Yeah.
In my case, some of them were in America.
Oh.
Some of them were way in Eastern Ontario, way up in fucking Maplehurst and shit.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
And how close are you to these people prior
very
to
close.
them? Okay.
I'm talking like like I said, like these are my fucking family members. Like I don't want to get too far into it, but like my family members are in jail. So I was misguided. I was in and out doing a lot of shit that just was like just unsavory, but it was also because you don't have the guidance. Somebody's there. He seems cool. He says, let's do this. It can make you a little bit of money. Yep. Maybe a few times it works, a few times it doesn't.
Yeah.
That person knows that shit's not going to work from when it's going to work. Yep. But you not being hip and not knowing, you don't know if it's going to work or not. You're thinking, oh, yeah, this is cool.
Exactly.
Not knowing how fucked up it is what you're doing. So once I started to kind of see who the person was for who they were, then I just fell back because I was like, this ain't even really my thing like that.
Yeah.
And then, other people agreed with me. You know what I mean? They felt like they didn't want him around either.
Okay.
So, but then, you know, birds of a feather. You know, they're going to hang out. People who, losers will hang with losers.
I see.
And winners going to be with winners.
100%. It's like the 5 people close to you.
That's it.
That's the average of who you are.
That's what it is. Because I remember OG had told me, when I first started kicking it with him, one of the OGs from like the block was like, yeah, you know, in 5 years, you're not even going to know this motherfucker. Like, he's not even on your level of human being. He's like, but you don't realize that right now.
Okay.
And I was like, what? Like, this is my nigga. Like, what are you talking? You know what I mean? But he was right. Within like 2 years, I seen what he was saying.
Shit.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's that.
If like, how did you recognize, or was it a turning point? What was the
There was
turning
a lot
point?
of turning points, but it was just a lot of jealousy, like a lot of just unnecessary shit. Things I did too, you know what I mean? But like I said, just misguided shit, you know? You're snaking your homie out for a girl, or he's,
shit.
you know what I mean? Things
Shit's
like
so
that.
whack.
I was doing that to him.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh.
Yeah. But
Like, you mean like you guys are going for the same girl? And
sort
then,
of, but it was just like, honestly, you just see the weakness in somebody. This is really what it is. And I think he thought the same thing with me, but he underestimated how much of a competitor I am.
I see.
You know what I mean? Like, once again, from the basketball.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Determinate, you know, once again, 30 people on one side of the gym.
Yeah.
I went from 40 to 30. But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
like,
that many people on one side of the gym against me. I like I said, I kind of like those odds. So it's different. And I just like I said, I just played the game till it's played out. And people like that, this is as far as I go on them. This is actually the most I've even talked about this guy.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel like he's a good person. Yeah, not quality.
As like as a fan looking in, like I was like, yo, these guys are homies. You guys are dropping so many songs together, you know, like and then the corruption camp, like I was so sick, bro. Like it was good to see somebody having their own, like around G Unit, when they say G Unit, I didn't know what branding and stuff was at that time.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, that's cool. It's a collective.
Yeah.
And then when I heard that, I was like, this is dope. Because if I just heard you, I'm like, oh, Tre Nyce is dope. But then when you said corruption camp, I'm like, oh, they're making this into a label.
Right.
There's potential for other dope people to be part of this, whatever they're doing. And then like it kind of, as a fan looking in, it just never progressed to where it should have. And now when you're explaining this, that there was a lot of animosity or competition within the members at that time, or specifically with
me and Cash. I mean, we were the only ones in corruption camp, and it was just a lot of like just unnecessary shit, really. But just when it comes down to it, it's just jealousy and quality of human being. Like if you're dealing with trash, then that's the kind of result that you're gonna get. Yeah, you know what I mean. And like I don't hold no, people know I don't bite my tongue for nobody. Like I'm gonna say what I say. Facts. And like at the end of the day, not a quality human being. Just leave it at that. It's not quality. You know what I mean?
Do you, if he's like listening to this or hearing this, do you wish him success or anything? Where is he right now? Do you know?
I couldn't tell you. Okay. I actually couldn't tell you where he is.
Oh, I see.
But whether he listens to it or not, he knows where I stand with that shit. Like fuck, I don't have. It's not so much that I have a beef with him. Like if I see him, it's on site. Da, 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 da. Honestly, if I seen him and he came at me negatively, I think he knows that I'd be more than willing to take it any place he wants to.
I see.
But in all reality, it just boils down to the fact that two different type of people in this world, and that just ain't my people.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Just some people are and some people aren't.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But we had good music.
Yeah.
Real PI was my song.
Yep.
And I put him on it. And at the time, I was silently moving in the streets a certain way, and he was more out there yelling at the fact that he was doing something of that sort, whereas I was moving quietly to the point where he didn't even know that that's what I was doing. Damn. So when I made that song, it was a shock to them, because they were like, oh, like what, like, really? Like, yeah, really. So later on, obviously things happen, and as life has progressed, I think everybody knows who the real PI is around here. Facts. As far as like
what does PI stand for?
A lot of things.
Okay.
A lot of things. Man.
Is there anything you could disclose to the audience?
Prepared individual.
Okay.
Person of influence.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Got it.
I'm all
As a kid, I had no idea, by the way. I was singing the song, like I was like, this shit is fucking hard.
Yeah.
And by the way, to anybody else that doesn't know the song, check it out. The Real PI, Tre Nyce. Yeah. One of the first local rap songs that I heard on the radio.
Yeah.
How did you do this? How did you get your song on? Is it the Beat 94.5 back then?
Yeah.
Okay. Or is it Z95.3?
No, it was Beat. It was on the Straight Goods radio show.
Okay. Back when the Beat was good. When they were playing good music.
Yeah. They had a nighttime show with Flip Out and J Swing.
Sick.
And, those guys are amazing. And I was, like I said, from being in the club at 16 years old and building rapport with these guys and them seeing me, they would see me all the time. And I'd have something for them. Sometimes it'd be dope. Sometimes it wouldn't be.
Yep.
And I would skip school and go to the Beat to headquarters with the fucking CD, not knowing anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And being like, "Yo, give this to DJ Superfly. Like, tell him Tre Nyce said to play my shit."
Yeah.
And that'd be my whole day. Skip school, go downtown, smoke weed at the Amsterdam Cafe.
Damn,
and hope for the best.
R.I.P. Is it still there, by the way?
Yeah, it's still there. Okay. I'm a lifetime member. Okay.
Dope shit. Nice.
You already know.
That's an OG shit there.
Yeah.
So you skipped school, went to there,
go there
with a CD, or is it a cassette player at the time?
CD.
Okay, CD.
And yeah.
Okay, dope. And then you just heard your song, or did they tell you, "Yo, we're gonna play your song tonight"?
No, not even. It was just like I was just pressing. Like I press chemo like every day. Like, yo, holler at those guys. Like, see what can they play my shit?
Yep.
And they'd be like, they're not gonna play that song on the radio. Like, it's not a radio song.
Yeah.
And then finally they heard it and they were like, yo, we're rinsing that tune like 7 times a night in the club. Like, it's going crazy. Like,
that's
you know what I mean? So they started playing it, and that was just me on it. I wasn't with them other dudes on it or nothing like that. That was just
even
Tre Nyce, not even Cash.
Yeah, not even
just me.
I only heard your verse on that.
Just me. And that's the thing. So that song flipped like 3 ways. You know what I mean? And that was a big record for me. It was good. It hit like how Black Man hit. It was like it essentially there's a trade off. The same type of feeling that you got was what PI was back then.
Dope.
That was the exact same feel. You know what I mean? So we got to see what happens next, and that's what I'm excited for.
100%. So like Real PI was like your first like joint. Is that the first song you made that you're like, yo, this shit's a banger? Like before it got released to people.
A lot of bangers though.
What was the song you first made that you were like, damn, this is hot? Was Too Hot came out before Real PI?
Yeah.
Okay. Too Hot was sick. Why are you beefing with Soulja Boy, bro? Explain this.
I don't even know. I just wanted to just drop a bar. It was just something about it. If I couldn't dance, I wouldn't. Superman or some shit. I can't remember.
But you ain't gonna see me Superman that hoe or something like that.
Yeah, some line like that. But that was just the era that we come up in anyways. Like Eminem, 50 Cent.
100%.
It's battle rap. It's like good battle rap though. Quality disses. You know, quality this, that. So that's just like me throwing a shot out there just to do it because that was the era. That was just a cool thing to do.
Who was in Coquitlam that was all like I told you that guy totally was like my classmate and he was like it's like, yo, this is the guy I'm working with. I'm making beats. And then was there other people that you were working with in Coquitlam more so? Like around, let's say outside of the Vancouver people, the big homies, but people your age. Is there anybody that you were working with locally, like in this area? No, not really.
Famous.
Famous.
$FAMA.
Who's famous?
My homie.
I think I don't know if I heard it.
He's Persian homie. He's super sick.
Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
He's dope.
Okay.
He's dope. We grew up together. He was around. So we used to he got the name because he worked at Famous Players.
Oh, okay.
And we used to kick the back door.
Yeah,
we used to kick the back door in and just watch a movie every Friday. Nice. You know what I mean? Just blaze in there and shit. Crazy shit as kids. But that's the homie. And we definitely did a lot of work together. Still did. We actually got a video that we're going to be shooting pretty soon. So.
Oh, sick. So you guys are still connected.
Still connected. Still cool.
One thing you mentioned was Flip Out and who's the other DJ that was playing? Jay Swing. They were playing your joint.
They blew me up.
Okay.
Those guys blew me up. Yeah, pause. Those guys actually, them and Chemo is responsible for a lot of my early success. And they know that, but they're real humble about it. They don't even care. It's cool. You know what I mean? But they did a lot for me.
That's
in the early run.
And they don't work with everyone. Chemo straight up will tell me this Vancouver rapper is whack. I don't fuck with this guy. Yeah. We're just going through it.
Yeah.
But the fact that you guys have this long-term relationship and he's consistently working with you and everything, and Chemo's bro, the guy's goated and he's always making better shit.
Yeah, I know. He's pretty sick. He's a sick individual, man.
Super dope dude. And when it comes to Flip Out, did you know he rapped as well?
Yeah.
Do you remember that song? AMP Army?
I was one of the last times he performed that song, I seen him do it. It was at the Ludacris and Cassidy concert way back in the day, man. It was Ludacris, Cassidy, Ciara.
Was this 2004? What is that?
Yeah, something like that. And they had opened up for them. The Central Soul guys. This would have been 05.
05?
Yeah, the Central Soul guys were there. They did their thing.
Do you know Savage Beats, the producer?
Yeah,
Siavash.
Yeah,
that guy's my cousin, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I found out he was my cousin.
Oh, it's later on,
it's one of those family relations kind of thing, second cousin kind of thing. But I didn't know he was involved in the industry, and then I just found out through that song, actually.
Oh,
yeah, because my cousin was like, "Hey, you like music? Do you know that they made this?" And he made the beat for that.
Yeah,
and then I found out later on he just sampled something. But
that's all.
That's all.
But it's though. It's okay.
It's all good.
It's all part of the game. Shout out to Savage.
Savage.
That guy's actually really cool.
Yeah,
Chemo does a barbecue every year, and those guys are there.
Bro, the thing with Savage, he's a dope dude. He's married, has kids now, all as well. He was always pulling all these girls, and I'm like, how are you pulling? He pulled this one girl, and I think her name was Katie, and she was in this movie called Ginger Snaps.
Oh,
do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, this popular Canadian actress, and he would bring her to Afghan weddings. And then I'm like, fire. God damn, Savage. And I think she was even taller than him. Crazy. He comes in what's that dude from Def Jam?
Which one?
Something Russell
Simmons.
Yeah. And he's always with this skinny tall model. He just came in like that, what's up, all casual. I'm like, this guy's bringing the white girl, you know?
Right.
And then we found out she's also famous and shit. And we're like, God damn. And she's dancing in the Afghan dance style when it's time to go
tight.
on. Yeah.
He had a culture too.
So he made it happen. So shout out Savage, bro. He made it work, bringing the cultures together.
He's a good dude too. I rock with him. I rock with all those cats. All those guys. OG East Van cats, most I'd say 99% of them. I got a lot of love for those guys.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. What's your thoughts on music today from what it was? If you if you're an artist back then, it was more driven by the connections and the networking and getting together versus today you can just literally sit at home and blow up.
Yeah,
and you can be that guy overnight.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's a good thing because it was really difficult back then. But I think in some ways it's oversaturated things. I don't think celebrity is going to be what people think it is in like the next 100 years. I think it's going to be.
So?
Well, I just think that it's already changing. Like you used to have qualities that were like outstanding to be considered someone of worthy of idolatry, if you will. Okay,
I got you.
Like worthy of looking up to, whatever. Even Marilyn Monroe, she could act. She was more than just a beautiful person.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you always had to have something extraordinary. Now you don't necessarily have to be extraordinary. Until the more you normalize these things, the less the allure of it. And so once that happens, things change. Just like when we look at fighting, we look at professional boxing, for instance, or MMA, for instance. Okay, so in the 1930s, there's this guy named Jack Johnson, right? He's the heavyweight champion of the world. He actually is a fucking genius. He made the wrench in all types of shit. And they call it the monkey wrench.
What is it? Sorry.
The monkey wrench.
The monkey wrench? He invented that.
The reason why they call it the monkey wrench is a black man named Jack Johnson made it while he was in jail because he liked automotive so much. He had so many fast cars and he wanted to be able to fix his shit on the go. So he made an adjustable wrench.
Word.
Right? But he was the heavyweight champion of the world. So imagine if Mike Tyson did that.
Came from? That's fucked up.
Yeah, imagine if like Mike Tyson made some fucking like, that's the equivalent of him making some crazy app right now.
Sure.
That's the exact same equivalent.
Exactly.
So what my point is so you had all these guys all the way up until about a Mike Tyson, where it was all these black heavyweight champions, super crazy athlete guys, right? Well, that's because they had to fight for a fucking living. Once the NFL started handing out fucking 10, 15 million a year, NBA started handing out 10, 15 million a year. Now you look at the divisions in fighting, I'm telling you, go back and look in like the 1960s. If you looked at like every weight division, you would see there was like a black champion in each division.
Facts.
Because that guy who could have been point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers is fighting because there's more money in fighting than there is in going and playing basketball. Those guys are all cokeheads. So the way things, you know what I mean? So the way things change.
It's a drug infested league.
This is what I'm saying. So the way things change and develop, it's
or
now,
even baseball
or baseball too.
Like
back
now it's
day,
more Latin players. Yes,
way more.
Now that's more like a Latin thing,
right?
Where Barry Bonds, when it was even in his era, he was like the one you would look at. Do you know David Ortiz?
Yeah,
like, were you a follower of baseball?
Yeah.
Okay, I just know the main players, mostly Toronto.
Yeah.
You know, Delgado.
Yeah.
Delgado,
okay.
And then Alex Rios. Do you remember him?
Yeah, Rios.
Yeah, Rios. So
my favorite was Vernon Wells.
Vernon Wells, that was my brother's favorite player, and he was just like, this guy's hard. I like Roy Halladay as a pitcher. I think like I wish he stayed with Toronto, but it
kind of fell off when he came to us.
You think so?
Yeah, a little bit. He could have been better.
Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes it's the owners. The owners are sometimes too involved, so we don't even know the back end process.
True.
But like you were saying, so
but shit gets watered down basically, and over time, it becomes different. So when we start looking at the perception of things differently, then that's when things will change. So I'm not sure how celebrity is going to work in the next like 100 years. I'm not sure if it's going to be a big deal to be like, for instance, right now we're celebrating. Oh, I got 1 million views.
Yeah.
People might just get 1 million views regularly. Like that might just be a regular thing. Who knows? I don't know. But like they're trying to normalize it so much that it's just hard to say.
There'll be a different metric that we look at.
That's what I'm saying. There's going to be a new metric. This metric is one way, but there's going to be a whole another metric that they use. That's just what I think. Anyway.
No, I completely agree with you. I mean, even if you look at the celebrities now, even internationally, it's more so we don't like our celebrities to be too poppin'.
Right.
We need them to be more like us.
Right.
Be more normal. That's why they have to be on like the YouTubes and the other social media platforms to relate more to the common man.
Right.
Versus when we were kids, it was just kind of like we knew celebrities were richer than us. They had these mansions and everything. And because of their intellect or their extraordinary athletic ability or whatever they achieved in life to get to that status, we knew that was the steps. But now it's like we don't know. Some kid's just like playing video games and he's just like going live, doing the most basic shit, and he's one of the biggest celebrities in the world.
You see it. So that's where it's going to change. So that's where it's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. Because even with sports, like the more
Want to bring the mic a little closer?
Sorry, the more
you can pull it like this,
the more we get into sports that are less contact driven and yield a large dollar amount, the less likely you are to see a LeBron James or a Michael Jordan.
It's time for Coffee Tunes. This is a song that the Coffee and Banana team believes you should be listening to. This season's Coffee Tune is #Free Afghanistan by Vancouver's very own Crescent, produced by East Boulevard's Marlowe. Here's a quick sample of the song.
Afghanistan, trying to take over the people and occupy their land. Though we weren't equipped, we the last ones to quit. Fighting back to 89 when the Soviets split. Now hold up. Why is that relevant? Cause the Pakistani closet is full of Afghan skeletons. The Muslims nowadays are focused more on what has gelatin. When it comes to support, they become a little hesitant. Blame it on the president or a lack of evidence. As they see us bleed, we hear them read, we'll be heaven sent. It's a facade to dedicate yourself to God, but not help the one.
Here's a little background about the song. Afghanistan is currently facing a humanitarian crisis. On August 15, 2021, Taliban fighters entered Kabul, the capital, which led to the fleeing of the president Ashraf Ghani and the government to collapse. To find out more about how you can help Afghanistan, please check the show notes of this podcast. Thank you very much, and now we're back to Coffee and Banana.
Like it's gonna, or even a Tom Brady. It's gonna be less likely to see that type of person. The more these other sports pay out. Max Kellerman has a really good saying that's really true.
Who's that, by the way?
Max Kellerman.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, Max Kellerman. I watch a lot of sports, like Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman on First Take.
Oh, okay. No, Stephen A. Smith.
He used to be
Max the guy who's a LeBron hater?
No, not really. That's Skip. That's Skip.
That's
Bayless.
Skip. Okay,
yeah, he's fired too.
Yeah, he's fired. He says some good shit, but like, we know he's a LeBron hater.
Skip, though. I like Skip. I can't lie. But Max Kellerman says there's nothing more compelling than a fight.
Okay.
Right, like if you like, and it's true. Like I was saying to my son, like if let's say right now we're walking down the street, and I don't care if it's two-year-olds fighting each other, I'm gonna turn and pay more attention to that than if I seen a guy like dunk on a rim. I'd be like, oh, cool, he dunked. Yeah. Yo, those kids are fighting. You see those two little kids fighting?
Yeah.
So fighting's gonna be one, but I just don't feel like people are gonna get. You're not gonna get your best version of human beings fighting right now because there's too much money to be made in other places.
Yeah, that's
you know
true.
what I mean? Because if that was the case, like yo. Imagine if LeBron trained Brazilian jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and all this shit since he was like 8 and he's 6'8" right now.
Yep.
Would we even be talking about John Jones? John Jones would get slapped up in that case, right? Because John Jones, I guarantee you he was getting beat up by his brothers.
Yeah.
Like I guarantee those D linemen.
Facts.
That's why he's so tough.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that those guys, don't get it wrong, those guys beat me up. I'm not saying that the guys in the UFC aren't like real athletes and this and that. But what I'm saying is the true, then there's a few of them, and the ones who are the champs.
Yes.
But the true blue dudes that could actually, like, you know, there's a lot of 6'5", 250 plus in the NFL. Trust me.
Yeah. 100%.
Those guys, if they were training, some of them got quick hands, quick feet, everything, running 40.
They just like dedicated to different things.
Yeah, it's a different type of thing. But if he was training his explosiveness to do this, you might not know who Conor McGregor is right now because you would have already got head kicked way long ago. You know what I mean? So that's why it's kind of a weird thing.
But also, it could be like we would know Conor McGregor. We would know Khabib. We would know all these like athletes, but they had to be way better in order to compete with the next level of competition, like these super athletes that would come out there. No, I see what you're coming from.
Khabib, I put in a different category. That guy's a beast.
Okay, Khabib is like, bro, you can't.
Khabib is a super athlete.
Yeah,
like legit. Yeah, this guy's a killer,
bro. You like as a kid, you're fighting bears. You know, like the mentality he has. I think his mentality is why he's where he's at.
100%.
Because how can you be so focused at all times? And they said that there was this dude who was, oh man, I forgot his name, but he's the videographer. He does all his vlogs and everything, or just like short story and short films. And he was just talking about like, I don't think anyone can beat him. He's like his mentality. He's like before he like the fight, he's calling family members, watching TV. He's chilling. He knows he's destroying the guy. He's like, cause he's been training so much, and then he's like super disciplined in everything that he does. So when you're going against someone like that, and then versus like Conor, which would beat both of us up, of course,
all day,
you know, anytime. But like, he's just like a different type of athlete. Like he's more the North American athlete, like yelling, like, look at me, I'm the best and shit. Khabib is like not having that.
The thing about Conor McGregor that pisses me off is that he's such a bootleg Floyd. Like if and I don't even care. Like I'm gonna just say it. Like if a black dude, it's so funny how it works. Like they go like, oh, like I love his confidence, this Conor McGregor. He's so cocky and so brash, and he's the Mystic Mac. He's calling him out, and he's knocking guys out in 4 rounds, and blah, blah, blah,
exactly.
right? Okay. But he's lost fights. He taps out.
Yep.
Okay. Floyd has fought 25 world champions.
Exactly.
Like, he fought 51 fights or 52 fights, but 25 of those fights were Super Bowl level fights.
Yeah.
Right? So he's fought in the Super Bowl 25 times.
Yes.
And he's won the Super Bowl 25 times, right? So he pops off and he's arrogant. He doesn't respect women. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. But McGregor is the one who's been hit with those types of charges, like real charges, right? Whereas like my man, he's got all these girls, but I've never heard them come out and say no shit. Like, you know what I mean? He's had a couple things like with his baby mom, but never the shorties that are like actually around him. You know what I mean? And to make matters worse, it's like, yo, from Versace to the way he dresses to the way he was moving, he want to buy a Phantom like Floyd. He want to do everything. Don't get me wrong, I want to be like Floyd too.
Everyone wants
you know
to
what I mean?
Floyd,
But the thing is like, so he's disrespecting the master. Like, if you know the 48 Laws of Power,
of course,
he was
100%.
trying to outshine the master, and he stole the blueprint, but he couldn't execute the plays. You know, like he stole the playbook.
I wish though, I hope that Conor like is like this, but then behind closed doors he goes to Floyd like, yo, mad respect, bro. You know that this is a show and I got to do this, but you're the GOAT, and he shows that type of love. If he does that, then I'd be like, yo, Conor, I got you. Like, go ahead, do what you got to do.
We don't know,
you know, but we don't know. But from what we see, you're right, 100%. He took the blueprint, and Floyd is one of the, and he's independent. Like, he's like, I'm gonna make sure all the money comes directly to me, and I'm gonna make a record label and sign girls from Vancouver. Did you know about that, dude?
I heard about that.
Yeah, it was like Vanity something.
There's a few of those. Well, I don't really know them too well, but I do know them like in passing. And he had a good situation. He's not an idiot. Like that's my whole point. So, you know, but it's funny, like, just to go back to like the thing that bothers me is that he can go out there and he can say everything. He could literally quote Floyd word for word, and they'll take that same argument and be like, "Oh, he's so good, he's so confident," and they'll turn around and put it on Floyd and demonize Floyd. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But this guy's record, one guy is 50-0, or 51-0,
sure,
and with 25 world championship fights. I just make sure that that's in there.
Of course.
Then another guy, I don't even know his record, but I know he's lost.
Yeah, we've seen him lose.
Yeah, I've seen him lose. I don't know his record. I actually don't even care. I actually think he fights a lot of tits, to be real with you. Like, I don't really, like, every time he's gone up against some real shit, he gets beat up. You know what I mean? Like, especially recently. Like, Dustin Poirier made me like $120 that day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I knew he was gonna do it. I knew it.
Nice.
And like the just all those little things. But he still, like I said, he slapped me up. He's talented. Nothing to be taken away from him. He knew how to market himself. He knew how to get on.
Exactly. His marketing is good.
He used his privilege for what it was worth and did what he could, and then turned around and was like, well,
he found how to connect to the people that needs, because I think he came from poverty as well.
That's
right?
what he's trying to put out. Like, I'm just a poor Irish boy.
But was that true? I don't know the full story.
No, it probably is. Probably is. But if you're a grown ass man and you put yourself on welfare,
I see what you mean.
You don't have no initiative.
Yeah, this is true.
You know what I mean? So whereas like Floyd came from poverty too. His dad was in jail while it was in prison. While he was like beginning to rise, when he was in the Olympics, all those things in areas where you would need a father. He didn't have his dad there. Whereas McGregor had his dad there the whole time.
I see.
His dad couldn't get him to get his ass off the couch. You know what I mean?
Shit.
Those types of things.
I see. Interesting.
It's just different. It
is. But that's also like just, I think the experience that me and you, we speak about, like, me being Afghan, I'm forever going to look at the world so much different than anybody else. You know, your background is Jamaican, right? So you're being Jamaican and just the way you were raised, you're forever going to look at the world differently, and you're going to empathize to the people that actually are faced with struggles. And you're going to look at it and be like, how come you guys are not seeing this? But it's like, that's just the world. At the end of the day, some people will almost never understand. And the world's getting to a point where we're having open conversations, where we can actually have these discussions. And then that's one of the reasons why you made a joint called Black Man. And even with millennials, you're just kind of like opening conversations, like, hey, let's talk about this for a second, you know? And you could just easily be like, yo, let's just make another banger and just focus on this. But you're like, no, let's slow down. Let's talk about the actual discussions that we need to have. You know? So what inspires you to be vocal about these kind of things?
A lot. Like, just the main thing is probably the fact that, of course, I experienced racism probably every day, not even really being aware that I am experiencing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's obviously the days where it's really clear that there's racism going on. So for me, it's just a matter of just speaking up. You know, coming up, even in the school system that I came up in, there was a lot of denial of racism.
Yeah.
And there was times I felt like, I wish someone could have spoken up for me, or that there was things going on like these freedom marches and stuff like that when I was a kid. So I could have expressed myself earlier. Maybe it would have helped me along the way.
100% would have.
So I kind of taken it upon myself to be fearless about it and to be the cool guy doing it, because I think that a lot of the times when you come from a different background, if you will, than that isn't the majority background of the country that you live in, you can often feel like if you go too far into your ethnicity or too far into your culture, that like it's not cool to the rest of the surrounding subculture with that you live in. You know what I mean? Like we touched on earlier.
We did.
So for me, I used to hate it, like going to, a mosque with my aunt as a kid and having them like force this black, in my mind, forcing this black shit on me. You know what I mean? All this black. Like, man, I'm tired of this shit. I just want to watch Power Rangers. So I think that I want to make it appealing to somebody like me that when they were younger, that was impressionable, that if I can make it appealing to you, then you're going to take up the mantle next after me. That conversation is going to start with you earlier in life, or start with your counterparts earlier in life who like the records, who listen to the songs. And you guys, like, I'm doing my part to create less racial tension by getting through this part in the first place. We got to have these discussions, like,
exactly,
100%. And the thing is, too, like, one thing I really enjoy about like my wife and her family is like we talk about this stuff. Like there's lots of white people around me. I'm not like a white people hater in any way.
Not at all, of course. You haven't been at all during this discussion.
No. But I'm just making it clear, I don't hate white
100%,
people. 100%. But there's lots of white people around me. And the one thing about it is, and we've known each other very long time, probably since I was like 17 or so a very long time.
Whoa, wow.
Yeah. So, and we have these really great, they're not even heated, but we just have these great discussions about race. And my wife happens to be half Chinese, and she grew up in a town where it was predominantly white, and she heard a lot of little Asian jokes and shit like that when she was a kid. So she can identify a little bit. She'll never know what it's like to be black or be brown, like, because it's different for me and you. Like me and you especially. Like, I don't want to go too far off topic, but we have these great conversations. Sometimes people, white people, black people, brown people, whatever, when racism comes up, they can feel attacked, right? They feel like you're talking about them when you're talking about racism in general.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And one thing I respect about like the white counterparts in my family is that they don't get that defense. Like I can tell the difference between, like, for instance, when I'm talking to somebody, if they start getting defensive about racism, like, oh, it's not that, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh yeah, you're probably more on the, you say that shit in private, and this is, you know what I mean?
True.
Whereas I find that those who are like, yeah, and then we have these open discussions, these real discussions, where neither one of us feel like we're being attacked. We're just discussing race openly and like what we think is wrong, what we think is right, et cetera, et cetera. I don't agree with everything they say. They don't agree with everything I say, but there's a way that we go about these conversations. And I think that more people need to find that common ground amongst themselves. And it starts that way. It starts by you having that conversation with your grandparent or your whoever, but you doing it with just you and them. And then you can broaden out that conversation once you and that person have gotten past the fact of this person's trying to attack me because I have a view that might be bigoted or prejudiced. You know what I mean? And once you can get past that and have a conversation like, this person's trying to educate me and I want to educate this person on maybe why things are said like this, and this person wants to educate me on why I shouldn't say things like this, then you're able to get into this interesting common ground. And all of a sudden you realize, like, okay, we're not so different.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So I've been able to do that with a lot of people because of this. And I find myself, a lot of people message me about things like I'm a racial Cape Crusader now. But
damn.
yeah, it's crazy.
It's weird. But
yeah.
I don't think, here's my thing. I don't think like, I hope that we get to a point where Black and brown people, Asian people don't have to explain our perspective to be like, just letting you guys know we deal with that racist shit. And right now there's a lot of things going on with the Asians.
Yeah.
Have you been seeing, just because this corona has been going up?
know.
And Canada's the largest per capita, by the way. I just saw a recent statistic. And so it sucks that we kind of have to be in a position, you'll never know our experience, but we have to kind of explain to you. But not that we have to, but we kind of want to let people around us know, like, hey, here's your perspective, and here is why, not that you're wrong, but here is why you're looking, maybe what you're saying or what you're thinking is not valid because of where it was originated from.
Right.
And here is where it was originated from.
Right.
And let me explain to you my perspective of how I see the world.
Exactly.
And then when you have those conversations, like, you find out, like, one, you bring people together instead of just being like calling someone out, like, yo,
exactly.
It's not that type of energy.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like having these open discussions. And of course, sometimes they're going to get awkward or heated, and they should, like, rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're coming in a position of like, let's bring people together and it's all love, I think these conversations will continue to thrive and make both of you better coming out of it.
Exactly.
And then you feel better. You're like, I made a connection. You'd feel so shitty if you have a conversation with someone and then arguing back and forth, and then you walk away from that. You're like, you just, like, it ruins your day. You know, you're like, fuck this shit. Exactly. And then you have to just kind of like jump back into it. And then you could be like, man, all people that look like this are thinking the same way. You could be thinking like that too.
Exactly.
But then you can't put everyone in a box, because technically you're kind of doing
what they're doing.
Exactly.
It's a fine line.
Yeah.
It's a fine line.
It's a fine fucking line.
Like, it's crazy. So in order to be a racist, essentially, you have to be able to determine somebody's future. So if I can say Kane's not going to get this job because Kane's Afghani, and that's the only reason why. I don't care how qualified he is. He's Afghani. He's not doing this for Black people only. Then I'm a goddamn racist, because I'm only concerned with the
By the way, it's
determination.
Just Afghan, so not Afghani.
Sorry,
just
Afghan.
No
I
problem.
apologize. Then that would make me racist. You know what I mean? Because I'm only worried about the self-determination of my people specifically.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's that aspect of it, and then there's the other aspect of just like people will prejudge. So like, I don't believe that I myself can be a racist, or that even like Black and brown can really be racist. We can be prejudiced.
Yes.
Like, I can be like, that F and whatever.
Yes, exactly.
That's some prejudice shit. But I can't actually just because someone cut me off on the road, I can't stop his way of living. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I can't call the cops. And here's what I mean by that. Let me take it.
You're explaining this properly. I love this conversation.
So what it is I can't call the cops. If you cut me off in traffic, I can't call the cops and say, hey, there's a guy, he's Afghan and he did this, and pull him over. Here's his license plate. Please get him. I'm scared.
Yep.
Okay. I'm a Black male and I'm scared. Okay, click. Now I could turn around. You understand the other part of it.
I
and
understand.
I don't even got to say it, and the people
you don't have
listening
to
will
say
know.
it. Yeah.
So that
you just
is
brought
racist.
up that Dave Chappelle skit. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I didn't, but I didn't even know.
Okay.
No, but my point is, that's what I'm talking about by racism, and that also is a form of institutionalized racism. Because if I know that I can. Like, if Black people, let's say the other shoe was on the other foot, and Black people knew that they could call the cops every time a white person came into their neighborhood. Yep. And the cops would come and get that white person out of there. Yeah. Come on now. Yeah. The white people would be screaming racism. Yes. Like, why can't we go here? You know what I mean? And Black people do the same, have the same issue. Brown people have the same issue. And it's clearly just, it's institutionalized racism. Yep. So that's where we gotta we have to do better as a society with that. Yep. But that's what's gonna take a long time. And I was talking to my grandma the other day. She's more of a center-right leaning person. So she's very much
more conservative, more old school thinking.
Has love for the Queen of England, for instance. You know what I mean? Like, she respects this shit.
Does she know what's going on recently?
She knows everything that's going on. She still feels like the Queen doesn't need to be stressed out. That's just where she's at. Okay. And I gotta respect it. Because once again, generationally, that's just where they're at. My whole point with that, though, is that, they come from these different sects of life. You know what I mean? So it's hard. It's just hard. I don't know. It's hard to say. Because she would think that you need to get in line. And don't be so anti-establishment.
I see.
Get with what they're doing. Who cares? Assimilate.
Okay.
Right? But that's hard for me to do.
I see.
Based on like the experiences that we're going through in life. I'm not going to be able to assimilate.
You can't. And I think like as much as you reject your identity, it's just like you're forgetting a part of you.
Yeah.
It's like this is who you are, and you're like, nah, I'm gonna pretend to be this. Just it's kind of like the same thing. Let's go. I know it's not at all comparable. Someone's like, here's our clique. Do you want to be part of us? Then be this way. And it's everything you stand for, it's everything against. And then you're like, yeah, I'll do it just to be there. And we know a lot of people that do that shit like that. But you respect yourself so much to be like, nah, bro, that's not me. That's not the type of person I am.
Exactly.
And I need, if you fuck with me, you got to fuck with the full me and understand my full experiences. And I actually appreciate the fact that you bringing in your Black experience and the Jamaican Canadian experience, and then your wife is, you said, half Asian.
Yeah.
So is it half Chinese?
Yeah, half Chinese.
Okay, half Chinese. So she can bring in that perspective to your son.
Yeah.
So now your son can look at the world in such a different way. And do you think life for him will be different?
No, not from that perspective. No,
Really?
no.
Still,
it's not.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me.
We already deal with racism with him already.
Fuck.
So it's not one of those ones. It's hard to say like, oh, he's bringing it onto himself because he gets into arguments. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
Bringing on that part of it. No, I mean, a name call is a name call, but there's levels to it, and kids know certain things to use, just like we do as adults to cut someone down. It's no different than why women don't want to be called whores and bitches. You know what I mean? Because you're cutting them down in a different type of way.
100%.
That's like calling the N-word to a girl. You don't call her. You don't call
if
me
you're
that.
disrespecting someone, you're disrespecting someone.
Right.
You know?
So there's that. But I don't think it'll be different because of exactly what my center right. I have one grandma that's like super progressive on the left, but still has like, there's a couple like old school hardcore values that like those will not change. And then my other grandma is more, she's center right. And one of the things that she said that's true, she's like, it's funny because in 1960 they were out there singing this shit. And in 2020, they're out here singing the same thing. In 2040, they're going to be saying the same thing. She said, it's funny. You're going to be speaking to your grandkids and you're going to be telling them the same thing I'm telling you right now. And I think she's right. I think that part of it, we're always going to be out here because the real systemic change that needs to happen isn't happening. You know what I mean?
It probably won't.
It's not going to happen. So until that happens, which it won't, like there's, so it's always going to be like this. And even if everybody had sex with everybody and
we're all mixed and stuff like that,
we're going to find some other classes,
some other way to discriminate.
Because I'm sure you know this too. Once you get to the old world, it's all about skin tone. Like somebody like me, I'm too dark. You know what I mean? Whereas other people, like my son, is light skinned, so he might get the preferential treatment for being lighter,
even within your community.
Within the Black community.
Within your Black
it's huge
community.
in the Black community. And I know it's big in the brown community too.
100%, bro.
Colorism.
In so East India, like I guess from India, they actually, there's a show called Bollywood Matchmaker, something like that, and then people would be like, we would love to match our son with a beautiful woman, not from the South though, but someone more from the North. And then I didn't think of it too much. But then you realize that's their code word of being like, not too dark. We don't want too dark. We want lighter skin. And in my country, the lighter you are, like whiter skinned you are, beauty. That's beauty. And then for me, bro, like as a kid, they were looking at me as like, they were like within the African community, they were calling me like the negative words that they would say towards like an African American, just because they're like, you're this. And as a kid, I'm like, I was fucked. I'm like, because I was darker.
Wow.
Because I'm like,
so you're considered dark for being
the thing is, I got lighter throughout the years a little bit too, but I was darker as a kid. And then especially with my family, because like they're lighter looking. So if you paired me up with my other brothers, I'm the darker skinned one. And then it was easier for them to make those type of remarks as kind of jokes and shit. But as a kid,
they're
bro,
serious though.
Yeah, they're fucking serious. And you never forget that shit.
No.
You never forget like being like, oh yeah, the dark one. And then you're like, oh, they're still talking to me.
Like, oh, I'm the dark one.
Oh, I'm the fucking dark. And then I'm like, this is fucked up. And then later on in life, you're like fucking 30 and you're like, why the fuck do I still remember this story when I was 3 years old or 4 years old? you're like, because like the words are so powerful.
It's true.
And kids know when you're being discriminating towards them, even if they don't actually know, they can feel the energy you give.
It's true, because I be bugging my son and I'm be like, man, you got them light skinned nigga tendencies, right? And he'd be like, oh, like girls, like, we would be doing the back and forth this.
Throw that.
But then my wife would jump in and be like, yo, cut that shit out. Like you guys are putting the wrong vibe out. Facts. And I gotta stop and be like, yo, you know what? She's right, because I'm pushing colorism on you.
Yes.
I'm trying to show you that because I'm darker than you, I'm like the girls might sleep with you, but they gonna marry me. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing, right? Just bugging them.
I remember,
But that's not cool, right? So it's a whole thing. It's a crazy game.
What's your thoughts on like? Because like here's my thoughts. I think that racism is like as fucked up as it is, like racism, like sexism, anything discrimination is whatever. But like, you know how comedians are being canceled for all these stuff that they're saying about race? Most of the time I'm just like, bro, you're a comic, you're a comedian, you can say whatever you want. Like I'm just for that, because I'm a fan of comedy. What is your thoughts on having like kind of ridiculing shit that like happens like that?
Yeah, I'm not cool with that.
Who is the comedians today that you rock? Do you listen to comedy like that, or like you follow comedy? Who's the comics right now that you rock with?
At this moment, not too many.
Really?
Yeah.
Not even Dave?
Like Dave is tight, and like I was rocking with Dave when I was like younger, and I still like his stand-up game. But to be honest, like I'm kind of waiting on Eddie Murphy to give me one. Okay. I just need like one from him.
Did you see Coming to America too?
Yeah, it was. I thought it was great. People were hating.
Come on, bro. It was like so watered down. That was the watered down I thought. Yeah. I still liked it. Don't get me wrong, but it just can't be what it was. No. And then I was disappointed with that.
That's why it took 30 years for him to make it, because there's nothing he could do about it. Nothing. He did all the right stuff. He used like he used the flashbacks the right way. He brought the best parts, like the two rapping twins. Yeah. He brought them back. Okay, and shit. Like, nice. He brought back a lot of really good things. It's just that. And it wasn't even that it wasn't executed right. It was just it's hard to beat that classic. That is a classic movie. Like amazing movie. The very first one. Yep. It's hard to beat. I've watched that movie I don't know how many times. Yep. And the amount of pride, like I didn't have the same pride that I did as the first one. The first one gave you real pride. Like, man, look at these like marvelous black people. You know what I mean? Whereas his second
like
one was
African kings.
African kings. Like actually though, you know what I mean? Like he was really like, and it even King Joffrey Joe, like like his dad, right?
Of course.
That was some funny shit how he did his funeral. Like that's such an African thing to do. Like I don't even want to die. Like before I die, like do me up nice. You know? Is that kind of because like culture? Recently what's been going on is like I don't know if you noticed, but recently a lot of guys have been getting dressed up, like setting scenes. Like so how we have a setting like this is how they do a setting for a funeral. Yep. And like it just be like homie, like you know, his chain on playing a PS5.
Word, I did not know this.
Read my whole service with me in my shit like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's what they're doing. Damn. So that's part of like the celebration of life. That's what they've been doing recently.
Interesting.
Body stiff as shit too. Like just fucking
word.
Homie. Yeah.
Damn, I gotta look into this.
Craziness.
Wow. Is it like on YouTube? Is it like
okay? Yeah. World Star, man.
World Star?
Yeah.
Shit.
World Star will show you like funeral, dudes at his funeral. And yeah, iced out. Crazy shit.
Wow.
Playing video games.
Nice. It's incredible. It's
incredible. I don't know. It's different. I wouldn't do that. Just, just set me on fire and throw me on the. Throw me in Jamaican seas.
Are you religious? Are you spiritual?
Yeah, I'm spiritual for sure. Yeah.
Is there any religion that you would say like that influenced your spirituality a little bit?
Everyone from well, not everyone, but I think that like the main ones, Islam, Christianity.
You mentioned like one of your grandmothers went to mosque.
Yeah. Oh no, my aunt.
Your aunt.
Yeah, my aunt.
So she's a Muslim.
No, not anymore. But what it was she was marrying somebody. Was engaged to somebody who was part of the Nation of Islam.
Okay, got you.
And so I spent a lot of time with the Nation of Islam as a young child.
Do you rock with the Nation of Islam? Do you rock with the 5%ers and things like that?
I rock with the Nation of Islam.
Okay,
nice. I think that they're misunderstood, and I think that what they stand for is
like Farrakhan right now is the one holding it down. True. Yeah. And then before that it was someone Muhammad, and
Elijah Muhammad.
Elijah Muhammad. Sorry.
So it's it starts with this guy. I don't even want to mess up his name was Farad.
Okay.
And he was the one who brought this version of Islam, because this isn't like
this version in Detroit. I think it was originated.
Yeah, it's a different version.
It is.
I think it's Chicago. He brought it to originally.
Was it Chicago? Okay.
I think so. I don't quote me. Could be wrong.
That's okay.
But this version of Islam that he brought was something that he gave to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes.
Elijah Muhammad then sent this sect out, and it's believed that he was a spiritual enough person that he could leave his body and he could come and visit you in the spiritual form. Elijah Muhammad could. And so it's said that when Malcolm X was in jail and was converting over and was kicking his drugs, Elijah Muhammad came and visited him in the spiritual form.
I see.
And finished off his conversion to Islam. So there's a big part of my life that is very much dedicated to this stuff. It's things that were implanted in my brain.
I see.
Subconsciously as a child that I didn't even know were being put on me. That when certain things later on in life happen, I was so prepared to deal with people's racism and stupidity that I don't think that they were prepared to deal with how I was going to deal with them.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
I see.
And I'm still the same way. Sometimes it's not that great because, you know, maybe my wife be like, you're tripping out. Like, it's not that bad. Like, it is that bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I feel this way, I'm trained to catch this shit. You know what I mean? So there's that. And the NOI played a huge role in that. Then became, you know, moved out here. And there wasn't really that. There was just like churches and stuff. So we went to church. And that's fine too. And I my thing is I have a personal relationship with God. I pray. I'm pretty sure I pray every day. Like, I could say I pray every day.
Okay. Dope.
Like, legitimately,
Facts.
I could say that, okay? And I believe in God. And it doesn't mean that I'm perfect, because I'm not. And I fuck up all the time. But I think that God sees my heart at the end of it, all this shit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's the most important thing. You know, so that's just where I stand with it.
Exactly. In Islam, when I was younger, like one thing that what I learned, it's like you have like two angels on each side. You know?
Right.
All the whack shit you do, one dude is writing it down, and all like the dope shit you do, someone's writing it down.
Right.
And like in a sense, it held me almost accountable for everything I'm doing. You know, and someone could be like, "Oh my God, you think God is watching?" or something. I'm like, that's not such a negative thing. You know, you think that if you're just leading the world in a positive way and just taking responsibility for all the actions that you've done, and you're living with yourself. You're like, I'm not going to do like some shit you do is fucked up. Right. But then you look back, you're like, damn, that was an experience I had to go through. It shaped me for who I am. It's fucked up, but it happened. And then I'm going to continue to put good in the world. And like you said, your relationship with God is the only thing that matters. You don't need to go to church. I don't need to go to bro. I went to a mosque when I was in campus at SFU, and that guy was saying some bullshit. He was saying some shit.
Even feeling it.
He was saying some shit. I'll tell you what it was. It was like the Olympics, you know, when it was just the Olympics came to Vancouver, 2010. The guy was like, I know a lot of you guys are watching the women figure skating for the sport, but we know you're not. So you probably shouldn't watch that. And I was looking at the dude that brought me to the mosque. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this guy saying? And the guy's like, yeah, just ignore that part. I'm like, wait,
ignore that part. No.
Fuck this shit. And I'm from Afghanistan. Like I live there. Yeah. Everybody there, it's all about love and bringing people together. Islam is the place where it's like, yo, get that cultural bias bullshit out of the way.
Exactly.
Bring it. You're Muslim. I'm Muslim. We're brothers. We're sisters. That's what it is all about. Yeah. I come over here. They're just like, you know how like people that live in the culture of it versus people that read it by the book.
Yeah.
And then the people that are reading by the book in like the Western world, I was like, I can't relate with you guys, but I lived in a Muslim country and it's all about peace and love and just being all inclusive. What the fuck is you guys saying? Okay, fuck this shit. I'm out. Like I didn't want to go to a lot of the mosques. And to this day, I go to mosques like during those like super religious days, like Eid. I don't know if you know what Eid is. Yeah. Okay, dope. And then my man, you know your stuff. So like I will still go, but at the same time, like it's a weird relationship. So that's why I say I have a relationship directly with God, exactly like you said. Bro, you know what's weird? We have a lot of similarities. Most Even definitely. Your favorite player is Shaq. My favorite player is Shaq. I've never met somebody who just was like, my favorite player is Shaq. But I'm not a center. You're not a center either. I'm not a center either.
I'm supposed to be like Gary Payton, but like, nah, Shaq.
Gary Payton's hard though.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
the blood's hard. Shout him out real quick.
Shout out Gary Payton. Yeah, it's sick. The glove, man, that guy's, and he was like savage. He would say whatever he wanted to say. Savage. He would get into Jordan's ear like, the point guard. Don't play with me. Yeah, it's facts, bro. Facts. We got to give him his rose, you know?
Yes.
man, I don't even know where I was going with this whole religious thing, but I was saying that overall, like, it's your relationship, whatever that is, you're holding yourself accountable.
Exactly.
And if you, even like going back to race or just any injustice that you see, if you see something is fucked up and you like don't say anything about it, you're, I guess, like, you're part of the problem, but like, I don't want to blame you. I'm like, why can't you hold yourself accountable? Like, imagine one day someone's going to do that same bullshit to you for some other reason. Maybe someone got hated on for their race. You got hated on for your political view or some other shit that you got. And then you'll fucking sympathize with that person that you did wrong.
You won't be able to double back to that person that you should have been there for. You know, even if you send them a message like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do that back in whatever," they're gonna be like, "Yeah, you shouldn't." You know what I mean? So you got to hold people accountable. It's just a fact. Like, I hold myself accountable. Everybody hold themselves accountable.
You have to. You have to, and you have to unlearn the whack shit that the media was putting onto you when you were a kid.
Exactly.
And have like genuine conversation, like we're doing right now. Look at this. Your background could be 100% Christian. Mine could be 100% Islam. Bringing it in. But it doesn't mean like I'm just supposed to start like, by the way, I'm right and you're wrong, and you come vice versa, and then we start the conversation. Already there's some whack shit, and we know the conversation is going to be hostile. Yeah. You know, but if we're just like, yo, I want to be a good person. You're like, I want to be a good person. Let's start there.
Exactly.
You know, and then how can we make ourselves better?
That's key.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all
We've been talking about a lot of shit, which I fuck with, because like I said, bro, I know you're a nerd. I listen to your lyrics, so I know we could have conversations like these.
For sure.
Because like, again, but people don't know how Tre Nyce, and like Tre Nyce is hella young also, because he started early, but my favorite rapper as a kid also was Chameleonaire.
Oh yeah.
People don't know the Mixtape Messiah series. So they're all like, oh, Right and Dirty. I'm like,
no, he was out there.
He was
killing it.
He was killing it independently. People don't think, with Paul Wall and all that. And then I knew you opened for Chameleonaire.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, damn, I'm so fucking, I wanted to be there, but my parents wouldn't allow me to go.
That was the all ages one at the Polish, where was it? Croatian Culture Center. That was good. Chameleonaire is cool. We met, just done my show. Oh shit. It's my phone.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys want to take that little pause? Okay.
My bad. Sorry,
no,
guys.
It's all good. It's all good.
But you know.
Hold on. Let me just get this noise out of the way.
My bad. Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably fucking.
It's all good. We can just take a little cut. Can I get some more coffee, sir? Bro, you want some coffee too? I can top you off.
I'm down, yeah.
Okay.
Hi. Oh fuck. It's definitely her.
Okay. Don't worry, bro. We'll be wrapping up shortly as well. So, if you're stressed on time, we can just cut it out.
Yeah, that's cool, bro. She can wait and be patient. It's totally fine.
Okay, I can take your jacket.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Did you put your phone on?
Yeah, I put it on
Do not disturb.
Silent. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's gonna have to be patient, bro.
Damn patient, man.
Just chill. I guess it's been an hour, so she's like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. What's up? Is everything cool?
Yeah.
What were we just talking about? Shit, I forgot.
Chameleonaire.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Hold on a second. And we're back. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, Chameleonaire was cool. We opened up for him. That was a good day for a lot of my friends. They got a chance to get on the stage.
Oh,
and that was kind of their first time. Really,
do you remember what you performed?
Soaking up the clout, you know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
How old are you by the time?
Like 17.
17 years old.
Yeah, so
and you went to school probably was it a weekend?
Like the next day.
And then like everyone's honestly, like
the biggest one that got me the most like clout in high school was we opened up for Joel Santana. And there was like 1,000 people there, right?
Whoa.
And at the end of the show, there was a big bottle fight between upstairs versus downstairs at the Plaza, whatever, Harbor Event Center.
Yeah.
And this huge fight breaks out. Boom, boom, boom. I like had a girlfriend at the time, so I'm running through the fucking club with this chick and blah, blah, blah. And then so the next day, the rumor was that Block Stars had fought Dipset. Well, every girl in my school was like following me around the next day.
Whoa.
Because you're like, oh, hey, like, yo, so we heard, like, nah. But I just kind of played it up after, like, you know what? That was when I realized, like, just hype the shit. Like,
Yeah.
you're never going to see this nigga again.
No,
like,
you will. You will.
know what I mean? But that's how I
But at the time, you were like, yo, let me just milk this a little bit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I was
saying?
like, you know what I mean? Really, we had nothing to do with it. But that was the one. And then after that, it was like The Game, Mike Jones, Chameleonaire,
Nice.
a few other ones, and it was just it just started just a good effect, a good rolling motion.
Who's the promoter around this time that you probably work with the most?
Fuck,
Do you remember them?
Marviante.
Marviante.
Yeah.
Is he still involved in that?
I don't know where that little.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't know.
Okay.
I think he's
a good
in LA
relationship or?
No, we're good. We're good.
Good?
I think he's in LA or something like that. I don't know where the fuck he went. But he was he was based out of St. Louis,
Okay.
and he
He
just randomly was in
Vancouver and
Van.
was like, I'm gonna do
Yeah,
this.
I don't really know too much his background too much, but I know that a lot of my friends work for Marv.
Yep.
And a lot of people worked for Marv back in the day. And he was the one getting a lot of shows, allowing me. And it was, you know what? I miss Marviante because, and this is gonna be a little bit controversial, but
Go ahead.
He was, whatever. He didn't always do business the best way. But one thing he was a black pillar within the promotional game of Vancouver. So you could as a black artist, at least you had somebody that you could turn to and lean on that could get at those blueprint type dudes. You know what I mean? That could be like, nah, this is my homie and he gonna do this. Nah, this is my club night. You know what I mean? And they'd have to just respect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Was he like a big guy too?
Little nigga. Yeah. Just cool cat from St. Louis, boisterous, had way more hustle than these guys.
I see.
So these guys, like,
Of
you
course
come
they do.
here, you can just run roughshod on cats if they don't have the hustle.
True.
So what these guys did was they implemented barriers within the overall promotional game of Vancouver so that they could monopolize the situation. So from the smallest event to the largest event, it'll be put on by one company.
Yep.
But that one company now has a monopoly because there's less players like Marviante in the game.
Yeah.
When Marviante was around, and there was a few, Steven, shout out to Steven, when they were around, it was different because you had a couple black pillars. They kind of had to play by the game. They had to let a couple niggas get on stage. Now they can just ignore it and be selective with their type of dudes.
Yep.
And now that they're selective, they move the way they move. But the way to usurp these guys, and I keep saying this, it's really simple. Number one, don't get caught up on this local bullshit, first of all, okay? Who cares who's bringing so-and-so to the club? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Okay? Because that guy who's bringing so-and-so to the club is being treated like shit by so-and-so.
Yep.
So-and-so's like this fucking nerd. So-and-so's looking at Vancouver like a pit stop.
Yeah.
He ain't looking at Vancouver like it's Toronto. You're not going to treat, you understand what I'm saying? He's
100%.
treating him and everything else, and they're all getting treated like clowns low-key.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
And they're kissing ass just to be treated like shit.
Yep.
You know? And when I get introduced to these like celebrities or whatever the case is, it's like it's by somebody who's not even from here. It's on some real reputable shit.
Straight up.
Whereas if I was to get introduced to them from somebody from one of these promotional organizations, I'm not guaranteed that the respect level is going to be the same as if I had used my own plugs and got the introductory the way I know how to get the introductory. So that part of it, I don't care about. You know what I mean?
I see.
And nobody should. What you got to do is what I used to do and what I'm going to do again, which is just put on your own shows.
Facts.
And do your own thing. Because if you build your own shit up, then they got to come to you. And that's exactly what happened back then.
Yeah.
I would put on shows. I'd have people wrapped around the fucking Polish Hall on Kingsway.
Crazy.
Man, I'm talking young, running a speakeasy with my older brother. You know what I'm saying? Till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's sick.
You know what I mean? We selling alcohol. We selling food.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like, for real.
Yeah.
And eventually they had to holler because they're like, yo, these guys are killing it. They got people lined up around the block and they're not with no promotional company.
Yep.
You got to come get down. You know what I mean? So that's how these things will happen. Like, and then that's just the game in general in Vancouver. You got to step. These people want to step on you, so you got to step over them.
Facts.
That's all it is.
And like, bro, you experienced this shit from like day one with basketball. You saw that nepotism BS, and now you see it on a bigger scale. And like I said, bro, like the amount of work that you've put in, and I know you hate when I do this shit because like you're like, bro, I'm still like on new shit. I'm like, yes, bro, but like you did some legendary shit. And like all my friends, like I said, we were listening to you and we were like, finally a local rapper that's not whack.
Right.
You know, we were like, yo, this guy's dope. And we were like, why isn't he not on every single bill? Why is he not on every single festival?
Right.
I didn't know behind the scenes shit.
Right.
And then once I got involved, I'm like, oh, you guys, it's all political. It's all this shit. And that artist is there because you have equity in what they're doing. So it makes more sense if they become more poppin'. So they're consistently going to stay there.
And this person can't come up because
they're independent, because you have no influence with them. So if they pop off, now you'll feel some type of way. Like, what if they get bigger than my other artist?
Exactly.
So I can't have that.
Exactly.
Let's put them to the side.
Exactly.
You know, and I at first I heard that shit, but I was like, yo, all you artists are just complaining, because I heard it from other people saying it. Once I got involved in the industry, and then I'm like, bro, this shit is like high school.
Oh,
what
bro,
the fuck is going on?
It. That's why the thing about me when it comes to those circles is, and like, they all think I'm an asshole, and they're right. I am.
Bro, he's such a nice guy. Come on. We all think he's a nice guy.
The reason why is because I see what they're doing, and they've been doing it for years. And so when I'm not going to join in on your bullshit. Sometimes I get shit from my family members. Like, why can't you just go with the grain? Why you got to go against the grain on everything? It's like, yo, I don't mean to. It's just that these things disgust me to a point where it's like, yo, I'm not going to go with this bullshit. You know what I mean? So there is that aspect. What I'm hoping for is that guys who are running things like Slow Jam Sundays and things like that, those are more of the guys that I like as far as the way that they're moving. You know what I mean? I don't know what their group is called.
Yep. See,
Slow Jam Sundays dudes, like Marlon J. English and those guys.
Okay, yeah,
I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Like, I like what he's on, and I like what he's doing. He's representing. He's picked up that mantle that I was talking about that was down, and he's picked it back up. Yeah, and he's picked it back up, and he's got. I feel like he's got a way better situation than he saw the mistakes that those guys made, and he's got a way better situation, and he's figured that part out.
Dope.
So like for him, I'd be willing to, like, when we get out of this shit and we can actually perform. That's somebody that I'll probably holler at.
Sick.
You know what I mean? And be like, and I'll reach out to him. You know what I mean? But he'd probably be the only one. You know what I mean? Out of everybody.
Only one out of all these people.
Out of everybody.
Yeah.
Because the rest of them is in my opinion, is racist and show me wrong.
Yep.
These guys came out.
Racist and nepotism, all that
both.
shit.
They're managing black artists. They don't ever say, like, they never even, when at the height of the shit, didn't say Black Lives Matter. They didn't make no type of reference towards it at all. Didn't have their artists make a reference towards it at all. Didn't say anything about it. And the reason why is because they don't care about that. What they care about is that white people buy records, and white people are the ones who attend concerts. And as long as the majority of concert goers are representing that, then they're going to feel like they don't need to do these extra things, because that's not, who cares? You guys don't come to our shows anyway.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I mean? So but they'll bank off of the music, and they'll bank off of the culture. They'll wear all the shit. They might even have the shit before I do, and I'm a hype beast. But they might have some shit before me. But they're not down with what I'm down with, and they're not going to support it. So it's cool to be, like how they say, it's cool to be black until it's time to be black.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Facts.
It's cool.
Everybody wants to be black, but they also don't want to be black.
They don't want to have the black experience.
Yes, they don't want that.
You know what I mean? So they're lucky, and they're not lucky, but they're put themselves
picking and choosing which part do we want.
What they want to be a part of versus what they don't.
Which is it's all good. It's fucked, you know, and like it's worse when like those people they don't speak on it. They're like, well, hold on a second, it's not gonna, like, we're not in this position. You guys can do that. Or to be honest, I just don't think they are even. I don't want to use the word woke, but they have the knowledge to say, like, let's make an actual statement regarding this. Hey, this is an initiative that we're going to do. We're going to make sure we bring people of color represented properly in our local shows. We understand that
they do already. Here's the thing. They've already covered that base. So when somebody like me comes up with this argument, they go, "Oh no, look, what are you talking about? This guy right here, and I got this guy right here, and I got this guy right here. Like, what do you mean, dude?" But it's so much more than that. That's way more surface shit, right? Yes. And so that's how they.
Is it the equivalent of someone being like, "I'm not racist. I have black friends."
That's exactly what it is. But it's even deeper, because you could say, I'm not racist, I have black friends, and live in a white neighborhood and be completely cool. What they're doing is they're saying, I'm not racist, I live in a black neighborhood. I'm around black people every day. How could I be racist? That's what they're doing, because
Okay.
they're the neighborhood that they're in is hip hop.
Yeah.
And the black people that they're around, their neighbors or constituents, are their fucking artists that they're managing.
Yeah.
You understand?
I see that.
So they can pull that card even harder. Some of them think they have an N-word pass. Some of them think they can say that word. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Based off what I just said.
Exactly.
Because they're in the neighborhood and they're around it every day.
We hear it.
So there's, you know what I mean? So there's that aspect too. But those guys are clowns.
Facts.
And, you know, for me, I think most people, when they talk to me, can figure out pretty quickly that I don't give a fuck about what those types of people think about me. Never have, never will.
Dope.
They don't determine my life in any way.
They don't.
They don't determine my decisions in any way. And I just don't care enough about what my local promoters are doing.
Facts.
Just like they don't care enough about what I'm doing as an artist.
True.
But the difference between me and them is that I don't need them. Like, I actually don't need them. Whereas if tomorrow I hit a video with 10, 15 million views, they will call me.
Facts.
It's just that simple.
Yep.
So I'll never need them, but they will need me eventually.
Exactly.
And when they call,
Yeah.
it's going to be 4 or 5 times the price.
Exactly. They should throw the bag, and it's business.
Yeah.
Now it's no longer you're just up there. You get your check.
That's it.
I'm out.
That's what
you
it's
know?
going to be but not with everyone, but with certain ones, with
With
like
certain ones
90%.
specifically, because and this is why it's like, why are you so much harder on the local people or something? Like, bro, you go to the Bay, you go to Toronto, they're playing local artists.
That's it.
They're like supporting because they understand that it benefits everyone else. If
don't wanna do
the
that here.
local artists are making money, they're not just making money. The photographers are making money. The video
Everybody
directors are
is.
making money. It's like a full economy around it.
It's called an industry.
It's a fucking industry, but they're so short-minded, and they just see this little in front of them, this little space that they've created.
Yeah.
And bro, like the Jay-Z like always says the best. He's like, financial freedom, my only hope.
Yeah.
When they see, like, especially the stuff that you're talking about, being independent, learning the business and doing everything your own way without having all these influencing powers to tell you, you can't speak on that.
Yeah.
When you're preaching that kind of stuff, it's like, he's that guy. Let's put him to the side. But these guys who, you know, as soon as they get a record deal or some shit like that, and the guy's like, do this, do that, they're like, yes, bend over backwards, 100%. Because honestly, bro, you have a direction, they don't know what the fuck is going
That's the thing.
on.
It's easier for them to take advantage of somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. And I've been both, but I've always been independent.
Yep.
I've always been independent. Like even the deal I signed was an independent deal. It wasn't to a major. And the other aspect is just that it's just about, these guys don't have to do anything with this kid. The kid's already got himself 4,000 likes on his shit, or whatever the case is. So they take it and they just put it on autopilot. You add a little bit of grease to the fire and it goes a little bit higher. You know what I mean? But then these people, what happens is they plateau. And we've seen it so many times with all these artists. They all plateau. They hit a point and it seems like they're so popping and so this and that, but then they don't go any further. So they just stay right here. You know what I mean? And some of it is due to lack of talent, and some of it is due to the fact that, like, they shouldn't have been in that position in the first place anyway. You know what I mean? But the way, like I said, the way I look at it is like, I'm just rebuilding the rebirth right now. But what I understand and what I know is so many worlds ahead of what I knew when I first did my shit. That what's about to happen next for me personally is just like, that's why I'm kind of almost like in that position of I'm kind of laughing at it low key, like I'm just looking at it like, I'm about to really fuck you. You're gonna beat someone up. And like, you could just ragdoll that person
Straight up.
like, man, wait till I beat this guy up. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about the game in general, not just Vancouver, because if I think about local shit like that, I can't get to the big goal, because the big goal is so much bigger than worried about the fucking local promoter asshole who's running some festival who doesn't want to put me on. Wants to dick ride the Toronto rapper, or wants to bring out his local rap artist who's not good and isn't going to go nowhere. And there's a lot of them. Like I see cats right now, they're talking about, so-and-so's on the bubble, or this guy's going to do this guy's going to do that. That guy's not going to do shit. I'll tell you right now, that guy's going to be where he's going to be at the same spot 10 years from now. I'm going to see him in the same spot, but he gonna look at me differently in 10 years from now, because 10 years from now, I'm gonna be at a place that, you know what I mean? I don't even know. Can't even quantify.
Definitely.
So it is what it is.
Exactly. Bro, like you hold the key to your future.
That's
and
it.
You have your direction.
That's it.
Those type of artists are literally waiting for those platforms and those gatekeepers to let them in. One day they're gonna have an argument, some shit happen. Now that artist is stuck.
Yeah.
Because he didn't, like, some shit's gonna happen.
Do what homie said or
There we
whatever.
go.
You know what I mean? Like I don't need to live like that. My life is not ran that way at all. Like I control everything that I can possibly control.
Yep.
Whether that's good or bad, that's just what it is. I'm in control of my life, and I'm in control of my music and my musical destiny, as far as I know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
100%.
I'm not like God is, the ultimate decider, but I'm just saying, as far as I know, I'm in control of my shit. And so because of that, I make my decisions based on what I want to do. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Whether it's good or bad.
That's
just
dope,
what it
man.
is.
That's dope. Is there an advice that you would give to, like, let's say a young 12-year-old, 13-year-old kid, let's say Jamaican Canadian, just listening that he wants to get into the industry? Is that what you would say?
Write music every day.
Okay.
And create I knew I wasn't going to go to the league when I had basketball BC tryouts for the first time. There was kids that came and they had size 15 boot and fucking 6'2", 6'3" in the 8th grade.
Yeah.
The next year, the motherfucker was dunking. I was like, yo, I'm barely grabbing the net. I'm not going to be a basketball player.
Yeah.
So I put a board up on my wall after watching randomly caught Oprah one day after school. And she talked about vision boards. So I created one. I took all of the pictures in the source, which, like, this is when the source was actually dope.
Yep.
And I put them up on my wall, and it was like SPM. Like, it was everybody. Slim Thug,
Nice.
Eminem, this, that.
Dope.
And that was my vision board. And I took that, and that became whatever it became.
That's
all the things
crazy.
that happened in my life throughout were like, oh yeah, vision board, you know? And I had that in my brain. I wrote down goals. I still do. I write down my goals almost like every week. I change my goals up.
That's sick.
And I would just suggest, whether you're 13 or 31, that's what you should do. You know, create goals for yourself. Get a whiteboard. That's what I got. It's like a whiteboard that I can just put things up on. And it just helps you improve. You improve your life. You become a better person, goal-oriented, become disciplined. These are all the things that are needed to be a successful person. You have to have discipline on another level. And you're not always going to be disciplined. Even when you have next level discipline, you're going to lose that too.
Yeah, there's moments. You just got to bounce back.
Yeah, you got to be determined.
Exactly.
Got to be all kinds of things. I've lost a lot of money in the game, but I wouldn't, the experiences that I've had, I wouldn't trade for nothing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that's what I would say. Just go hard at what you do.
That's dope, man. Bro, we've been talking for a while, and let's end this shit.
Let's end it.
Okay.
I'm with it.
Okay. Peace and love to everyone. Thank you for listening. That was Tre Nyce, one of the Vancouver gods. Let's finish it off.
And you know it.
Thank you, sir.
My man.
Thank you.
Great conversation, bro.
Appreciate you guys.
Great shit.
Thank you, sir, for coming. I know you probably have so many other things to do, but yeah, appreciate that.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. A huge shout out to the Coffee and Banana team. It goes without saying, we can't get anything done without this amazing team. Video manager, Cole Weststeyn, audio engineer extraordinaire, Ryan Lohr, and our producer, Kunal Verma. Not to mention our wonderful sponsors for the season, and most importantly, you for listening. Visit our website at Coffee and Banana for more information about each episode, including all the promo codes that you need. I'm your host, Kane Dabir. Enjoy some coffee and banana on your road to greatness.